back out of the game?
Well, I think it is. The Eagles, you could tell in the pregame warm-up, kind of peeking down to 49er end to see who was taking most of the snaps down there. It is Matt Cavanaugh. It's not going to make one bit of difference for the 49ers. It's a Bill Walsh offense. They put the system in on Monday and Tuesday, and Cavanaugh can run it as well as Montana.
So Montana will sit down and Cavanaugh will go. Now, the Eagles will probably come out and maybe try to muscle like they did a year ago in the win on the coast, and Wilbert Montgomery is healthy, isn't he?
That's what they talked about. They felt that they could perhaps knock them off the offensive line a little bit. They had success in that opening game last year. They would like to get Wilbert Montgomery going, get him going early, and get him cranked up, because when he gets close to 100 yards rushing on the day, the Eagles very seldomly lose.
Okay, Wayne, you can see Mo Werging, as he's known affectionately for years in the Bay Area, the great kicker, is going to kick off. The 49ers have lost the toss, and the Eagles will have the young men back there, Joe Hayes, the rookie, and Major Everett, the second-year running back. You're looking at Hayes there. It is a beautiful afternoon. A lot of people are caught on an expressway, we understand. The stadium will have about 62,000 people here, so a few of those right now are probably cursing somebody in the lane next to them. Werging's kickoff, and we're underway. Remember, the 49ers are unbeaten, 3-0, and Andre Waters will touch it down. A big, deep kick by Werging. Let's get to the introductions. Here's the offense. Ron Jaworski, Wilbert Montgomery is healthy, Hubie Oliver a good blocker, Kenny Jackson, the #1 draft choice, and Mike Quick, a Pro Bowl outside receiver from a year ago. Spagnola has 16 catches the last 2 games. Maraldi, Perot, Dennard, Baker, and Mitchell, they will be tested. I'm not so sure how good that offensive line is. We'll set that defense in just a moment for San Francisco. It's a 1st and 10 from the 20. Set offense behind him. Handoff goes to Wilbert Montgomery. Montgomery finds a crack for 7 yards out to about the 27 or 8. Ricky Ellison making the tackle there. Here's the defense, and it's been hurt for Bill Walsh. Lawrence Pillars, Tuiasa Sopo at nose, and Dwayne Board at right end. Board is the class player there, but they're beat up a little bit on the front 3. Buns, Ellison, Jack Reynolds, the old hacksaw, and Keena Turner, one of the great outside linebackers. Mario Clark, Eric Wright starting at right corner. He's back from his knee. Williamson and Dwight Hicks, 2 good safety men. Jaworski on 2nd down and 3. Oliver, the man they call Rockman, is short of the 1st down.
Second time in a row now, just straight ahead stuff over there, wanting to get physical early in this game. As we mentioned, we might also mention that Ronnie Lott is out, will not start this game. That was debatable right up until the pregame warm-ups. He's got a tremendously injured toe on his right foot, hurt it last week, and just really can't go.
And he had a little bit of a knee earlier, and he's the kind of person you have to tie them to the bench, right?
I guarantee you they got him chained up over there somewhere.
All right, it'll be 3rd and 2 as Rockman only gets a yard. Good defense by San Francisco. Montgomery now out of the backfield and flanked to the top of the screen. On 3rd and 2, Jaworski being blitzed in. Uh-oh, flag is down, but Jaworski was trapped inside his own 30-yard line. Good-looking blitz by San Francisco. Pillars got there, too.
Was only one back. Hubie Oliver, number 34, back there with Jaworski, so they put the heat on him, and only one guy back there to help Jaworski out pick up, and they were right in his face immediately.
We'll bring on our first look, and perhaps a lot of the country's first look at the young punter that will be kicking for Philadelphia, a young fellow named Moran, who has been lighting up boards around the league and press boxes with his tremendous hang time on punts. He's a left footer who used to work at Hughes Aircraft. He took a year or so off to try to punt. And we'll see if maybe if we get a hang time, we'll give you how long it's up there. That's spheroid. McLemore, very dangerous punt returner, waiting in his own 35. This is a knuckleball that McLemore will take at the 43. Good coverage by the Eagles, and they specialize here. They're just about the best on a net punting average return.
You saw the hang time for of 3.9. That's way under what he wants. They like around 4 or 5. That's their acceptable. And Horan has been getting up there around 5 seconds and sometimes a touch over, so that was not a good one for him.
A 5-yard return of Horan's punt, a 47-yard punt, but not certainly in the gigantic terms that we've been led to believe he can kick. We'll probably see him loosen up like a golfer and strike it better. First offensive play in series for Cavanaugh and the 49er offense. We'll set that offense, and it is a tandem that's good. They both can run. Here's the fake draw. Cavanaugh throwing outside. Wide open receiver at the 35-yard line. Ronaldo Nehemiah, a world-class hurdler. Looked like that Somebody fell down out there.
He did. Bree Wilson, Bernard Wilson, the cornerback over there. That's a pattern that Nehemiah has been very successful running. He comes in the game, and they know he's one of the fastest guys in the league, maybe the fastest, so they give him a little cushion. He takes him deep, about 18 yards, and comes back to 15, and it's been open for him. But you still got to think that with Kavanaugh having perhaps a little bit stronger arm than Montana, that Nehemiah might just keep flying on one of those.
Tremendous speed, and Roynell Young, the all-pro cornerback, is not playing, and I think that Walsh and company have gone right to work on it. Roger Craig gets his first shot from the fullback spot and drags tacklers ahead for 5 yards. Herman Edwards and Ellis hanging on. Remember, both of these offensive running backs can run the football. They are no longer just a passing team. Here's the defense. At one time, the best in football a few years ago, but not quite there now. Dennis Harrison, Bigfoot at left end. Kenny Clark, an underrated nose tackle. And Greg Bound, a good pass-rushing defensive end. Jody Schultz, Jerry Robinson, the class linebacker there. Griggs is all right. Joel Williams is a good blitzing linebacker. The secondary's in trouble. Wilson, Edwards, and Ellis and Hopkins. Straight ahead by Roger Craig. Not much, maybe a yard. Stacked up there by Greg Brown. And there is the million-dollar quarterback today. He's in a baseball cap on the sidelines next to the coach.
He's wearing a flak jacket, a newly designed one under his jersey there, and they said he could play. And if it came down to the end of this ball game and something happened to Kavanaugh, I think something would have to happen to Kavanaugh before we'd see Montana. But if something did happen to Kavanaugh, then there is a chance we would see Joe Montana. Young Brian Clark is the third backup.
As Wayne Walker told you, they don't change their offense because Kavanaugh is much like Montana. Perhaps doesn't have the vision, but he can run the same offense. The toss back to Wendell Tyler. Wendell Tyler gets the first down and threatens to get more than that inside the Eagle 20. Here's a good football player, and don't let people tell you that he fumbles and all that. This kid can catch it, he can run it, and he's hard-nosed.
Gets to the line quicker than anybody. Watch this block, though, by number 68, John Ayers, the pulling guard. He's coming right at you, and he's coming right at Herman Edwards over here, and you're going to like it a lot better than Herman does. Herman lost his balance, and that's a plant job there.
That's right. The finesse team is supposed to be San Francisco. That looked like a pretty rough offensive play for a first down. First and 10 inside the Eagle 20. Kavanaugh seems to have the offense pretty much in his grasp. Straight drop back. Kavanaugh dumping outside. That's Tyler. Oh, good tackle there at the 15. If Griggs doesn't make that tackle at the 15, Tyler would have hung up his 5th touchdown.
Looks like Kavanaugh almost had an option out there. If Griggs dropping back on Russ Francis out there, he could go to Tyler. If he closed on Tyler, he could get it to Francis. That's a lot of the 49er scheme or those combination patterns.
Wait, it looks like they clear out and then a guy comes through as a trailer and he's wide open because somebody had to vacate.
They get a couple people in areas and then just try to pick on one individual. That time it was the linebacker.
Phil Simms of the Giants tore this secondary and defense up on opening day for 400 and some odd yard afternoon. And it looks like the 49ers are going to work on it. Craig trying to bounce to the outside. Was handled there by Greg Brown. Sort of a funny call on 2nd and 5.
I think it was designed to go up the middle, and Craig just bounced it out. Joel Williams, the outside linebacker, did a good job over there, and then Brown came to help.
For 5 years, from 77 on, when Marion Campbell, the Eagles head coach now, became the defensive coach, this green and white bunch, there he is right in the middle, they held teams to an average of 15 points a game for 6 seasons. And I don't think anybody, including the Pittsburgh defenses at that time, came close to that. They were very good at it. Roger Craig and Carl Monroe in the game now. Kavanaugh on 3rd and 3. Gets away, flips it, just misses Clark, and throws it out of bounds. Good footwork by Matt Kavanaugh in order to get that one off.
Had to step over Dennis Harrison, who had some penetration that time.
This college team got knocked off here yesterday, didn't Pittsburgh was swept by Temple University here, 13-12. I guess after 6 or 7, 8 years in pro ball, most of your classes graduated, so you don't worry about it anymore. Wershing has not missed inside the 40 in 28 shots.
And it's Montana holding out there for him.
The quarterback puts it down. It's off to the right. The swirling winds of Vet Stadium have fooled perhaps the most consistent kicker in the history of this game. Wershing thought the breeze was going to bring it back. And so, if there's an advantage for somebody missing a field goal, it's probably Philadelphia. Bill Walsh in his 6th year at San Francisco. Of course, 2 Super Bowls ago, the 49ers were in and won that Super Bowl up in Detroit. Quite a coach, quite a composed person. Jaworski now with the Eagle offense, his second shot at it. Here's the misdirection by Hubie Oliver, and he loses 3 yards. Didn't fool anybody, and Ricky Ellison racked up Rockman.
Young guy there is a hitter. There's 2 Rockmans going after each other. I know that's what they call Hubie Oliver here in Philadelphia, but number 50 there loves the contact.
Got a lot of experience last year for a young man in that linebacking spot.
He played every snap, basically, on the running situations. I mentioned that he was one of the starters in that game against Philadelphia earlier in the year, and it helped him a lot to have Jack Reynolds come in after 3 games. Hacksaw had like a hamstring problem and came in and really helped him making the calls and with his study habits.
8:53 left in the first quarter, no score, but San Francisco drove the first time they touched the ball. Jaworski hasn't had the first down yet. Going up topside, overthrowing Mike Quick at the 39-yard line. Looked like Mario Clark might have held hands with the receiver part of the way up the field, but that's the way the game goes.
Mike Quick certainly thinks so, and so does Jaws, but Clark is, plays that cornerback over there a lot like Ronnie Lott. He's physical. He likes to line up and give him a couple bumps in that allowed 5-yard area, and that was almost like a bump and run coverage for Mario. He's been a starter ever since like he was in the 7th grade. I think he was the #1 draft choice for Buffalo and started up there for years, so they don't go down a whole lot in quality with him there.
Jaworski's offense in the shotgun, they only had 26 yards offense after a quarter against Dallas. They look like they're starting slow again this afternoon. Here's the shotgun throw by Jaworski. Montgomery makes a diving catch for a gain of a half a foot. Tom Holmoe really made good coverage on it, and Wilbert had to dive to catch it. Jaworski with a strong arm, once in a while throws a low slider sometimes that dips right as he gets to the receiver. McLemore back to take the kick, and Horan back, and will try to put a clock on the young lefty again. I tell you, punting the football in Philadelphia became a saga for about the last 10 years. Horan's kick. It looks like the powder was wet again. This one hit at the 46 of San Francisco and out of bounds at about the 40. The crowd waiting for an explosion here in the city of brotherly love. A 42-yard punt, and our clock is still running. No score with 7:55 on the clock here at Vet Stadium. Matt Cavanaugh is the quarterback. Montana could play. He's been holding, at least for the field goal attempt by Wershing, but 3-0 team decides to go with their #2 man. It's plenty good. Clark makes a great leaping grab in Eagle territory at the 48. A high throw, but well thrown.
What a great catch, too. And you're not going to play it any better defensively than Herman Edwards did. He was right there as the ball arrived, same time. I mentioned about Cavanaugh's arm. He gunned this one. It was almost taken off like a Sandy Koufax fastball. Look, I had a little rise on it. Herman Edwards right there as the ball got there, and Clark did a great job of hanging on, and he's taken up a bit, as you can see.
Great thing about Dwight Clark is he knew he was giving himself up to make that catch, and he's always been a very, very tough competitor. We'll check on him. That's Solomon in motion. Here's the strong side run by Tyler, who's caught. Now he gets away, and Clark takes a shot at him. He is thrown back to the 45. Jody Schultz, the second-year linebacker, came across very quickly and disturbed that one.
Schultz is number 53. Tyler did a pretty good job getting away from Schultz. They call him the body snatcher here because of the way he tackles. Big upper body, long arms, and he just envelops ball carriers. Just in his second year.
He's a bow-legged guy. I never saw a bow-legged pigeon-toed guy that didn't knock you dead when he hit you, you know? I don't know why. That's a prerequisite.
Especially when you tell them they are.
Yeah, they do get a little bit irritated, hostile. It's second down. It's 16 to go. Cavanaugh trying to pick up some yardage now. The quick draw with Tyler. Well defensed by the Eagles, and he gets back to the line of scrimmage maybe. Schultz making another tackle. Scores from elsewhere around the league. Exciting actions. A couple of upsets on the way. New Orleans leading St. Louis. That's a very early score. Cardinals are a good-looking young team. They're going to get better as the year goes on. Minnesota with a Kramer to Sammy White pass leads Detroit 7-0 early, but those lines will hang in there for 4 quarters. You can ask San Francisco. And Atlanta leading Houston 7-0. The Falcons, of course, the 49ers' next Sunday opponent here on CBS. The number on Kavanaugh, 3 of 4 for 38. And this is 3rd down and 15. He's being rushed. He gets away and is now sacked back at the 37. Greg Brown, I believe, got part of it, and Struthers.
Looks like they had some stunting going on up front that time for Philadelphia. Bill Walsh said that this is an extremely well-coached Philadelphia defense, and I think what he really meant, Tom, and it's better coached than any other defense in the league. He has a tremendous respect for Marion Campbell. He said that the Eagle defense adjusts to what the 49ers do better than anybody.
Here's Maxie Runager, the former Eagle punter, kicking his first kick. Yvonne Cooper fair catches it at the 27, and the crowd has suddenly come to the vet. Action in the form of sacks and hard tackles. Don't go away. We've got a knocker. The punt returner for the Eagles, his name is Evan Cooper. I think I incorrectly called him Yvonne. I don't want to get into trouble with the young man from Cheney State. He's a good rookie. 1st and 10 call by Ron Jaworski. Hubie Oliver, the only remaining back. So he's got 4 receivers. Quick is hit right as he was reaching for the ball. Good defensive play at the Eagle 39. Mario Clark coming right over the top.
On him tight. Now you watch Jaworski. This is just a quick pass, head and eyes all time right here at Quick, and Clark read it well. Look at Ellison coming. They both want to get out of his way.
Quick, the most dangerous Eagle receiver. Last year went to the Pro Bowl. He just came on and was so spectacular, and he's superb after he catches the ball. The best way to play him is not let him get to it. Keep him out of the contest. 2nd down and 10. Offense sputtery, looking for something that might go, and not finding it yet. Linebackers are coming up as the blitz. They fake it and drop out. Jaworski throwing the deep sidelines, and it's knocked away from number 81. Mario Clark keeps Kenny Jackson, the number 1 draft out of Penn State, from perhaps making a reception. Looks like he might have had that one. There's Kenny Jackson, a Penn Stater for Joe Paterno. Don't forget next, the Packers and the Cowboys, or some of you will see the Chicago Bears and the Seattle Seahawks. Right here on CBS Sports on doubleheader day. 3rd down and 10 to go. The offensive line is very changed from the 80 team that Dick Vermeil took to the Super Bowl. Both tackles are gone. Carmichael's gone. Here's the shotgun shot to Wilbert Montgomery. Wilbert is going to be short of the 1st down by about a yard at the Eagle 37. Jeff Fuller caught him. Looked like Wilbert might have room to go then.
Almost, and he got some help from the strong safety also, number 27, Carlton Williamson. You'll see it right here, out of the shotgun. Montgomery comes out and then runs a narrow pattern, a shallow pattern. Williamson, 27, makes the hit as Fuller catches him from behind.
You said before, Fuller can run, can't he? Here's Horan's 3rd punt. The new Eagle kicker hits sort of a shank taken by McLemore, and he puts his head down and gets it out to the 37-yard line. Pretty good run back. You can see Runager, the former Eagle, congratulating his new teammate. No score. Tom Brookshire and Wayne Walker with 4:42 left in the 1st period. It's scoreless. 49ers have the ball for the 3rd time. The Eagles have not moved for any 1st downs at all. And the first time the 49ers got it, they drove deep and missed a field goal to the right by Wergy. Tyler now behind, good blocking by Quillen. And sneaking in behind is Wes Hopkins, who is one of the real head-hunting safety men in the league. Hopkins is a real nailer.
Those defensive coaches at Philadelphia just love him. Number 48, Marion Campbell told us, he said, he's rough and he's rugged and he doesn't mind if you are. He wants you to be just as tough as he is because that's the way he likes it.
You know, you talked to Marion about it. You said, we used to have to get ourselves sort of mad and everything by being scared. Marion Campbell, you see right there, he said he doesn't have to do it. He's just mean all the time. There he is, Wes Hopkins, out of SMU. Once in a while, play-action passes can get hard-hitting safety men, however. Here's the in-sweep by Tyler. Power sweep, gets through the block. Into Eagle territory to the 47, just cruising. Boy, Doesn't he follow the blockers?
Doesn't he? I was just going to say that. He uses those guards and the people in front of him as well as anybody in football. The thing that makes it so tough, of course, you don't see it here, is he just gets to the line of scrimmage. Randy Cross is 51, John Ayers 68 right there. They both get blocks, and look at Wendell wait for it.
Cross has got to be one of the better pulling guards in all of football. Am I right?
That's exactly right. And Ayers is one of the most underrated.
Good offensive unit, whether Montana is the quarterback or not. But make no mistake, Joe Montana is probably the best quarterback for a football team to have in the league. He's on the bench. Cavanaugh back to throw. He's got a couple of men out. Wide open. Craig knocks it down. He couldn't have heard any footsteps because there weren't any close.
Second-year player out of Nebraska, and he just doesn't drop many. He's got good hands. When we talked to him yesterday, we said, you know, how many passes did you catch at Nebraska in your career? And he told us about 14, I think, in 4 years. He's caught a ton of them for the 49ers. He's been real dependable.
And a very fine running back with good speed. If people underestimate the fullback speed for the 49ers, he'll run off and leave you groping for it. Russ Francis is in. Two big tight ends. Earl Cooper in there, too. Solomon is out. Second down and 10. Cavanaugh. Oh, great catch this time by Craig. And the young sprinter from Nebraska takes it almost to the 30-yard line.
Say something nice about him when he came out and run a little circle pattern and made an excellent catch on a ball that was just a touch high. There it is right here. Craig to the left of your screen. He'll come into view. He runs a circle over the middle. Easiest throw a quarterback can make is that throw right there. When you're a linebacker playing against the back coming out of there, you got to take away that inside and bump them at least, or make them run through you to get inside. That's an easy throw for a quarterback.
And they're short distances. You don't have a lot of reaction time on defense. And the 49ers are masters under Bill Walsh. It's first and 10 now on the Eagle 32. A busted play. Flags are everywhere on this beautiful sunny afternoon in Philadelphia. That's Ben Dreif.
Illegal procedure on the center. Center move before the snap.
Fuller moved the ball somewhat and tried to get Kenny Clark probably right off his headgear. Very steady player, number 51. You don't see him in highlights, but he does his work very quietly and well. 49ers are 3-0. The Eagles are 1-2 and literally stole the game from the Minnesota Vikings a week ago. First down and 15. Craig is the only remaining back, and now he's joined by Carl Monroe. Keeping the backs in. The blitz is on. Cavanaugh is down at the 48-yard line. Anthony Greggs. And let's go now to New York City and Brent Musburger for an update.
Brookie, this is becoming the year of the running back option in the National Football League. Hokie Gaijon of New Orleans comes up throwing against St. Louis. He's got Wayne Wilson. That's the second time in 2 weeks the Cardinals have been burned by that play. Let's go back to Brookie.
That's for sure, Brent. And, of course, Hokie Gaijon is local boy making good all the time down in Baton Rouge country, New Orleans.
The crashing Cajun.
He told us last week he had so many scars that he didn't know what to do with all of them on his head. From, I think, junior high school on. Saints are a team to worry about. It's second down and 26. Montana on the bench. Cavanaugh in trouble. Good throw off balance. Monroe has it. Monroe breaks the tackle and gets to the Eagle 34. What a throw by Cavanaugh on the move.
And a pretty good catch out in the flat by Carl Monroe, who was a free agent pickup last year by the 49ers. Looking at a guy that one of the smallest in the league right there, about 168 pounds, but I know it's tried to say, but his heart is about the same size as that 32 number he's wearing.
You know, it's very hard to sack Montana and Cavanaugh because of the quick patterns, but the Eagles are putting a lot of heat on with a pass rush. Whether they're gambling too much or not remains to be seen.
I think they're blitzing a little bit more than they've shown in the past. I really think that they feel that Montana scoots around in the pocket a little bit better than Cavanaugh, and I think they feel they can get to him some.
It's third down now and 14. Cavanaugh has him back to where he started originally. Going for Craig. He's wide open at the 18. Craig to the He's all the way to the end zone for a touchdown. The Eagles tried to get him out of bounds and couldn't even do that.
It looked like they almost had him close to out of bounds, just inside the 5 but not. But, boy, I'll tell you what, that was a great read by Cavanaugh. He looked over and had Craig running with the linebacker, Jerry Robinson. That's where he wanted to go, and we're not talking about a slow linebacker either. Jerry Robinson can run. But look at this, a great touch on this ball, lofted it over. That was the man that was the most open of anybody, and Cavanaugh found him right away.
Couldn't get him out of bounds, and so Cavanaugh did bring the 49ers back from 2nd and 26 to 3rd and 14 to a touchdown. 35-yard TD pass. Wershing out of Montana's hold. Oh, he nailed this one. You won't see number 14 feeling badly about that. Let's take a look at Jerry Robinson on that last play, Wayne.
Well, we mentioned the one that he was the closest to Roger Craig. Robinson right here. There it is right there. Now he's got to turn around and run. And remember, Tommy, you mentioned about Roger Craig's speed. Now look at him put some distance between himself and that linebacker. And Jerry Robinson once ran a 9.9 when he was in high school. So he's one of the fastest linebackers in the league, but couldn't keep up with number 33.
Craig got right up on top of the linebacker and beat an all-pro. San Francisco 7-zip. Few people out there think your life's funny. The life of a kicker is, you know, that's the last play. Even the coach gets weight pressure, but not the kicker. Wershing, after a successful extra point, kicks almost out of bounds, is Waters, who is out of bounds. Let's see if he was out of bounds when he caught it. They'll have to kick it again, but if he stepped out of bounds, the Eagles will take over inside their 5-yard line. They'll have to kick it over from a 5-yard penalty. Wershing is trying to say, well, come on, I can't be responsible for center fielders. If they catch it up in the stands, that's their fault. You'll hear all the excuses from kickers as to what didn't happen or did happen.
Well, his foot was on the line when he caught the ball. If his foot would have been inside, he caught the ball and then stepped on the line, they would have had to start their offensive series from there. So,
yeah, that's right. Ben Agajanian once told me that Septian came over to him once after missing one down in Dallas, a field goal, and said, why'd you miss it? And he said, my helmet was on too tight. There are all kinds of reasons why. Or one day he said that the grass was too long and they were on an AstroTurf field. And a scoring drive, and it was a beauty because they came from a long way back several times. 7 plays, 63 yards, and of course the coup de grace, the 35-yard TD pass, Cavanaugh Craig. Wershing now kicking from the 30. See those numbers? They're very important in the 49er way of things. They score big early and then have some trouble in the second half. At the 13 is Hayes. Hayes gets a good wedge block and gets out to the 33-yard line. And that kick wasn't quite as deep as Mo Wershing hoped for. Bill Ring making the tackle.
Brookie, it's still too early. It's just Wershing. It doesn't feel he's off to a good day right now just because he missed one field goal. But the Eagles really haven't had much going, and it's been kind of a grab bag offense for them. I mean, the runs, it didn't look like they had a scheme going at all on this thing. I kind of feel that they got to start getting settled down and going to Montgomery a little bit more.
I mean, if you're going to run him, right? He's the kind of a horse that likes to run wet anyway. Here it is. Montgomery, the great cutback runner, out over the 40 to the 41, just as Wayne Walker said. Let's go to New York City now for an update with Brent Musburger. Brent?
Rookie, watch this fake here by Billy Sims and Gary Danielson of the Lions now. Sims goes up over the top. Danielson still got the ball, and he throws touchdown to Leonard Thompson. And now the Lions and the Vikes are tied. Back to Brookie.
Well, as we've said after that opening day, Brent, we feel the Detroit Lions are going to be around late in the year. They're a big, solid football team. It's deeper than before, and they're coming back again today. Danielson, he's the quarterback. 2nd down and 2 now. The Eagles could get their first down. It's going to be close. Wilbert might have gotten it by about the length of his helmet. Wilbert Montgomery. First time he ever got a chance to show that he could run. He ran a kickoff back 92 yards against the New York Giants here at the Vet Stadium. And Dick Vermeil said, I think I might be able to use him in my offensive game plan.
And another thing that I talked about running him early. Now, in the times I've seen, Wilbert play time, if he breaks one early, it seems just pump him up for the whole day. So you got to give him that opportunity in the first 10 or 15 minutes.
And the Eagles just do beat the clock to end the first quarter. They didn't get a touchdown. They got a first down. And the crowd roared. It's 7-0 San Francisco.
Chevrolet, with performance, style, innovation, quality, and the value that make up today's Chevrolet. And by United Airlines, you're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies.
At the end of a quarter, it's 7-0. A 35-yard thunderbolt pass from Kavanaugh to Roger Craig. He had dropped one earlier, and Walker and I decided to stay in there with the young man from Nebraska. Boy, he made 2 good catches in that drive. The Eagles finally got a first down by Wilbert Montgomery on 2 runs, and that brought up a cheer. Wilbert, the remaining back, behind Jaworski. The handoff is Wilbert Montgomery finds his own hole and breaks out to the 44-yard line of San Francisco. He took it inside, and he is so good at cutting that he opened up the hole on the right side and found it. Williamson is slow getting up.
Well, that's Eric Wright, I think, number 21, who has been injured in the past and having problems with the knee. In on the hit. It looks like he may be coming off.
Nice staying there. He got that opening series, remember, against Detroit, when we looked up and he and Lott were both limping after a couple of plays against Billy Sims and company. He is being helped off.
So Dana McLemore is in there now at the right cornerback as they continue to hold Ronnie Lott back.
Okay, so McLemore, the young punt returner, is moving over now to cover Quick and Kenny Jackson, the 2 fast receivers the Eagles have, and the Eagles are in the eye. Wilbert Montgomery is deep eye. Here's the fake inside. Jaworski with a lot of time. Going across the middle. A jumping grab by Mike Quick. He went up a step ladder and tried to spike it and gain control and couldn't quite come down with it.
Jaworski had to lob the ball a little bit, had to arc it a little bit because of a real good drop that time by 64 Hacksaw Reynolds. Watch it right here. Hacksaw's back there about 15 yards along with Ricky Ellison, number 50. A good drop by both inside guys, and so Jaworski couldn't rifle it in there. He had to put some touch on it, and it was just a little bit long, so credit to 2 inside guys for that one.
Remember Hacksaw, when they used to take him out on passing plays, he went to San Francisco and on to the Super Bowl. Now he's making good drops, just like you said. Here he's talking to Norb Hecker on the sideline. Second down and 10 on the 44. Throw set. Haddix is out of the backfield. Quick takes it up the 28-yard line and dives to the 23. And he is so dangerous after the catch. You've got to rivet him and pin him. A 22-yarder.
Well, Tom, it almost seems every passing situation now, Jaworski drop backs and looks for Quick as his primary receiver almost every time. I mean, it's not a bad guy to go to, but it seems you got to mix it up a little bit more than that. We're mixing it up for something right there.
Looks like a laser light show. In the second period, 13:37 before half, the Eagles have it going. It's called Mike Quick time. Wilbert Montgomery, the cutbacker, inside the 20 to the 18. Good blocking out in front that time as big Leonard Mitchell, the former #1 draft, pulled from his tackle position. Other scores around the league. New Orleans 10-0 over St. Louis. As Brent told you, it was Gaijan Day down there. 7-7 tie. Danielson with a touchdown pass, and they've knotted it all up with the Vikings, a Central Division struggle of some note. Rams and Cincinnati no score in the second quarter, and everybody wonders where the Bengals have gone after preseason. Atlanta laid it on the Oilers, 21-0. Not even in the second quarter. Jaworski behind that new offensive line. Inside handoff. Montgomery stopped and pinned before he can get started. Keena Turner coming over the back. It's not a bad way to play Montgomery. Get him early before he gets started, before he can decide where he wants to run.
You get him bouncing out and running sideways. It's the best way to have those great backs going for you when you're on defense. They get turned up, they get dangerous.
What kind of a nickel situation will the 49ers come with the blitz? They're deep in their own territory on 3rd down and 5. The 18. What would you go with?
So they've got a ton of variations. They usually bring one person. They get a pretty good rush out of the 4 men, so I think they might lay back this time.
The shotgun formation with Montgomery flanked out to the left. To Haddix in the flat. He is buried immediately. A good tackle by Fuller, and he dropped it anyway.
I know you're becoming more and more impressed every week. This is our 3rd game with the 49ers this year, Tom. And number 49, Jeff Fuller. What a player.
And he can play so many different spots. He's almost as big as a linebacker. He's fast as the defensive secondary. And he's aggressive, as Michael Haddix will verify right now. McFadden now, a good young kicker that's come in here. He's went to Youngstown State, where Jaworski went to school. 3 for 3 from this distance. Put a high snap, but Jaworski gets it off and down, and McFadden makes another field goal. And there's joy. You got to perform in this stadium. It's 7-3 San Francisco. Marion Campbell sent Tony Franklin, the barefooted kicker that used to be here for 3 or 4 years. They said he was far north as he could and keep him in this league. He's in New England now. And this is young McFadden, who just hit the field goal and follows instructions. Monroe at the 7. Carl Monroe gets a good block. Tough little guy gets out to the 24. Jerry Cooney will make his long-awaited return to the ring against unbeaten Phil Brown. Cooney, who last fought in June of '82 when Larry Holmes beat him up, says he's ready to go this time. You'll see that bout live from Anchorage, Alaska, and the first ever New York Triathlon and the Marlboro Cup, where Slew Gold will be going for that second jewel of the Triple Crown. He won the Woodward and will get $1 million bonus, this horse will, if he competes the Triple Crown. His owners won't do badly either. The beginning, by the way, 3:30 Eastern Time, and for you folks in Harrisburg, PA, the capital of Pennsylvania, at 12:30 Pacific Time next on CBS Sports Saturday. You people in Harrisburg will get it at 3:30. Cranack made the tackle and is down. We'll be back in just a moment. My old Eagle teammate, now the Eagle coach. What do you say about being a head coach?
He said a lot of things to do. He said, just because you turn the projector off doesn't mean it's time to go to sleep.
He had 3 radio shows and 2 luncheons and a couple of other things during the week other than coaching. Good pass, Kavanaugh to Nehemiah, and thrown out of bounds by Bree Wilson. Let's go to New York City now and an update with Brent Musburger. Brent?
Rookie, the St. Louis Cardinals, if they can keep this young man healthy, Neil Lomax, they're going to be in pursuit of that NFC Eastern Division title all year long. Dumps it off to Earl Farrell for a touchdown, and the Cardinals are coming back against the Saints. Let's go back to Brookie.
I think we did one of the first games that Lomax started, remember, in St. Louis a few years ago, and we thought he had all the look of somebody that's going to be a franchise, and he's really helping St. Louis. If he stays healthy, they could be tough. 1st and 10. It's Roger Craig trying to get back to the left side. Remember, the 34 defense was sort of put together by Marion Swamp Fox Campbell. He did it at Minnesota, and he did it with Los Angeles with the fearsome foursome, and then he went down to Atlanta and had Zook and Humphreys, and defenses are the specialty of Marion Campbell. And his offensive situation now is handled by Ted Marcia-Broda, who's tried to use what there is available here, which are lightning receivers. That's Chuck Clausen, the line coach on Marion Campbell's right. Marion gives all the signals himself. Solomon and Dwight Clark. The fake draw by Kavanaugh. He's got time now. He dances and overthrows Francis at midfield. Those weren't happy feet. He was under a little pressure. Just missed the tight end, the 3rd guy. Now, Montana has such vision, he might have picked him up a second earlier.
They say if Montana does anything better than anybody in the league, it's get to the 2nd and 3rd guy. And when he feels some pressure, he slides out and gets out of the pocket. As you look at number 16 on the sideline there. Uncanny ability to stay out of trouble back in that pocket and make things happen when it looks like there's a breakdown. Kavanaugh, look at his numbers. Not too bad. 7 of 10 now.
And he's 50% on 3rd down so far today, 2 of 4. So this is a big play for the young quarterback. Filling in for a legend. Nehemiah is in there at the bottom of the screen. Kavanaugh being chased out now on the run. Good throw. Francis takes it and takes a shot at the 49, but it's going to be good for a 1st down. Herman Edwards standing up, the gigantic one. He is some talented individual.
Yes, he is. That's a pretty good throw by Cavanaugh. A right-handed thrower throwing on the run and going to his left.
He's so handsome and good-looking, though. It'd have been fun to play against him just to give him a shot once in a while, you know? Guys used to tell me that Van Pelt was that way with the Giants, that he was such a good-looking guy to be a linebacker. They tried to run over him just because they wanted to sort of injure him a little bit.
That's what Alex Karras used to say about all the quarterbacks. They're all pretty. I hate them all.
But I'll tell you, Francis can play. And he is strong and tough. Nehemiah is in there with Clark. Cavanaugh being rushed. Throws on the dead run and almost picked off by Bree Wilson. The ball thrown into no man's land, and nobody came up with it. Cavanaugh getting a little careless that time.
Some pretty good pressure that time as the Eagles blitzed him again. Jody Schultz, number 53, was back there. That's not a rookie you're looking at there. He's been around the league for a while. 7 years to be exact. He was the number 2 draft choice of New England back in '78, and he started 15 games for the Patriots in the time he was up there. Came to the 49ers before last season, and just spent the whole year basically behind Montana and Guy Benjamin learning the system.
He has that Richard Gere look, too. Looks like he could sell a lot of
right out of GQ, you bet.
A good-looking young man and quite an athlete. This is a good football team, folks. Second down and 10. Cavanaugh with good protection this time, going outside and missing Clark. The ball was not well thrown, and Clark was pretty well covered. Let's go to the NFL today now up in New York. Brent, what do you got?
Rookie, I know that Wayne knows this from being out on the West Coast, that Eric Dickerson has not run as hard this year as he did last, perhaps because of that injury before the season got underway. But here's his second touchdown of the year, and the Rams now lead the Bengals 7-0. Let's go back to Brookie and Wayne.
Okay, Brent. I've always felt that great running backs had great offensive lines, you know, and sometimes when they're not blocking, you're just not making any yardage. Dickerson is certainly one of the great big backs that's ever played this game.
Yeah, he's just a time bomb that's ticking all the time.
Jody Schultz, who's coming back from knee surgery a year ago, is shaken up, and we'll keep you comprised of what's happening in just a moment. A man they call a body snatcher, Jody Schultz there, 53. He sort of walked off under his own power. Sometimes those old adhesions from knee surgery rehab break loose when you get hit and you think you're going to die. Third down and 10. Mike Wilson is in for the 49ers. They're trying an under pattern, and it's cut off and overthrown. As Rorinell Young was in as the undercover on the nickel defense and read the under little pattern that they were trying to come with very well.
But it was good pressure, too. Tom Struthers, the second-year guy from Jackson State defensive end on a blitz. He didn't get to Cavanaugh, but he got good penetration, got his hand up, and Cavanaugh had to throw around him.
Rorinell had one of those abdominal pulls, which is very difficult to get loose for a secondary man. Runninger, the former Eagle, gets a tremendous punt off, and it's into the end zone. The Eagles will have the ball at the 20. Almost blocked. Somehow when that happens, it seems like the punter really releases and kicks a real screamer. A 50-yard punt, no return. San Francisco 7-3, and they give the ball up.
Thursday, for the 2-hour special season premiere of Simon & Simon, who try to save their mom from kidnapping terrorists.
Sounds like a good beginning.
Thursday.
Former head coach over in Baltimore and the offensive coordinator, Teddy Marchibroda. I used to play against him, and he is a well-organized, disciplined man. He's helped Ron Jaworski immeasurably already. Jaworski on a dash out, which you don't see. Now he's throwing it on the run, back into traffic. Williamson misses the INT. Ron Jaworski is not your sprinting type quarterback. He's tough and he's durable, but he's a pocket man.
I would say that was an ill-advised throw that time. There were about 4 red shirts around that one. He has a tough time with the fans here in Philadelphia, though, doesn't he? I mean, he thinks that as well as he's done, and he's had some great years for him, that they should have accepted him a little bit better than they have.
This town's tough on quarterbacks. The only guy was Van Brocklin, who was sort of, you know, he
didn't care
whether they liked him or not. There's Montgomery trying the left side of the offensive left side and getting about 1.5 yards. Dwayne Board stacking him up there. Board certainly an all-pro. Let's go to New York for an update with Brent Musburger.
Rookie, watch the flea flicker. Hand off to Billy Sims, shifts it back to Danielson. Leonard Thompson breaks deep. It's a 66-yarder. Second touchdown of the day now by Thompson, and the Lions lead the Vikings. Let's go back to Brookie.
All right, Brent. I remember Leonard Thompson came back in the opening game, had a big touchdown catch against the 49ers, and he hadn't even signed his contract yet. He still had the pen in his hand. Good team, that Detroit bunch. Third down now, and 8. Shotgun for the Eagles. Jaworski under a big pressure from the outside. It's knocked away, and there's a yellow flag down. As number 81 fought for the ball. That's Kenny Jackson. And Mario Clark, and he looked like they made a pretty good scramble for it. And let's see who it's on.
They were playing one-on-one over there. Jaworski read the blitz extremely well. Call it against the 49ers, against Mario Clark at the corner. We're going to get a great look at it right here. 29 is Clark, and 81 is Kenny Jackson, the #1 draft choice out of Penn State. 5-yard legal bump right there. Face guarding him here. Turns around like a veteran will. Look for the ball. Got his body in front of the guy and made a great defensive play. I'm sorry.
That's an awful call. I watch college games. They let the college people bang and bump and go for the ball, and I just think that's a good football play on both players' part, and I don't think it's a penalty. But obviously I'm wrong. It's 1st and 10 for the Eagles. And a darn good defensive play was interrupted. Here's Michael Haddix, the #1 draft from a year ago, stumbling forward to the 44-yard line, 46-yard line of San Francisco. Haddix was big and very fast out of Mississippi, but seemed to run in a straight line, sometimes without the ball.
Well, he definitely wasn't the tailback type when Wilbur got hurt last year and they had to move him over there. They felt that hampered his progression a little bit. He is definitely a fullback type.
7-yard pickup by Haddix. Inside move. Haddix spins, gets away, battles with some extra effort, and barely makes the line of scrimmage. It'll bring up a 3rd and 3. Jim Stuckey's in there. And if there's one place the 49ers might perhaps be vulnerable, would be the defensive line, where Dean is not there yet and is sort of reserved.
And Jeff Stover was hurt in that Detroit game.
Don't forget, coming up following this game, the Green Bay Packers against the Cowboys, or the Chicago Bears and the Seattle Seahawks. You in Harrisburg, you'll see, let's see, that must be a different card there. A little bit. Got the wrong message to you folks, so I'll just keep quiet for a while. There's Wilbert Montgomery being thrown back to the original line of scrimmage by Keena Turner. Real good tackle by the linebacker.
Turner is going to make one big play a game for you, at least one big play a game. He is one of the quickest of the outside linebackers in this entire league, but one of the best, and he just does it Sunday after Sunday for the 49ers.
Said his biggest problem getting ready for this game was the new baby, right? Sheena had her nights and days mixed up back in the Bay Area, but thank heavens he had his mother and his mother-in-law coming in shifts to take care of the young Turner. 4th down and 10 now. Moran's kick, pretty good kick. It's carries to the 10, McLemore to 10. McLemore run out of bounds at the 24-yard line. Darby down quickly to force the returner out. It's 7-3 with 5:57 left before half. I came across a crazy statistic. It said that any team that started out 3-0 since the 16-game season came in, they had a 70% chance of winning the division. I had no idea that 3 in a row was that important coming out. Here's Craig trying to get the outside, fumble out of bounds. A good hard tackle there as Bree Wilson came up along with Griggs, and somebody got their head in there and the ball popped out.
That was Wes Hopkins, the hitter we told you about early. When a ball comes out like this, it means somebody got a helmet on it, more than likely. Let's watch. Hopkins is the guy we said was tough, and that helmet right on the ball, and Craig was lucky he was near the sideline because that would have been up for grabs if they'd have been out somewhere in the field. And now you know why we said what we did about number 48, Wes Hopkins, the second-year player out of SMU.
Hopkins went out of bounds, the ball went out of bounds, and the great thing is that Craig probably doesn't realize what all is being thrown at him until he has one of those days he sees the movies on Monday. 2nd down and 13 to go. Ball's on the San Francisco 21. Kavanaugh, a lot of time, dumps it right out to Craig in the flat. Craig to the probably the original line of scrimmage, about the 24. Bree Wilson was there. What are the numbers on Kavanaugh so far? Looks like he stepped in and has the game plan pretty much in touch.
They said one of the things that really impressed him this week was his consumption of the game plan, Tommy. That Montana's really good at that, and he stepped in and just handled the thing just the same way.
Kavanaugh, of course, in replacing Montana, they say that by Friday, Montana has the 110 different plays and the ready list committed about as well as any quarterback they've ever seen. There are the numbers on Kavanaugh, and we're not at halftime yet. 3rd down and 10. Across the middle. Tyler to the 29. And the Eagle defense is there. Monroe made that catch, coming out of the backfield.
Yeah, that little tough guy, I'll tell you, he took a pretty good shot from Ray Ellis and broke one tackle. And you're talking, as I said before, about 168, 170 pounds right there.
Now Runeker will be in to punt. And Evan Cooper is back. Cooper with nobody back there, but it's almost blocked from the outside, and Runeker unloads it to the outside, and it takes a Philadelphia bounce at the 47-yard line. Waters, number 20, almost blocked Runeker's punt, and the crowd roars their approval. They're the cheerleaders for the Eagles. Certainly not a 1-2 record for these beauties. Got to be unbeaten. Philadelphia, beautiful day, 61,000 on hand, and Jaworski battling with his Eagle team that's probably outmatched, but they're not going to be outfought. That's what they said. 7-3 San Francisco lead. The I formation fake. Jaworski, with a lot of time, dumps it to Montgomery. Wilbert is eaten up by Keena Turner at the 44-yard line. Tackle by number 58. He just inhaled Wilbert. Scores from other games. Washington taking it out on New England. Looks like they're back for a long run, doesn't it? 10-0. Redskins leading before halftime. Detroit now with 2 touchdowns, 14-10 over Minnesota. The Vikings may have shot that one early. And here we said 7-3. 35-yard field goal, the only Eagles points of the day. 2nd down and 3. Jaworski going outside. Off the knee of Quick. Michael Quick caught it on his knee pad. And Mario Clark almost fell over. He couldn't believe the ball popped out. The Rams 7-0 over Cincinnati. A Dickerson touchdown. Long season. Falcons 21-3. Boy, you're in Houston these days, it's really a long season. Jaworski now with a chance to bring this crowd back to the Eagles side of things. A touchdown now, and this crowd would really warm up and become a real ally. 3rd down and 2. Jaworski looks like he's trying to screen it. He is. It's read by San Francisco, and he overthrows Montgomery. It was not the quarterback's fault. The 49ers played such smart defense, they just didn't fall for the screen.
Now they had Pillars. Lawrence Pillars out there sitting right in the middle of the screen. That was board number 76 with Pillars 65 over on the other side and went right out with his big tackle Leonard Mitchell and was sitting there, and Jaworski looked over to dump it off, and number 65 was in the way.
Sometimes the people don't understand that might have been the best play Jaworski will make today, getting rid of it and not getting it intercepted. Michael Horan, the young aeronautical engineering wizard with the left foot that's supposed to punt him out of sight. He's going for the corner. He's had 5 inside the 20 already. I believe he's nailed another one. This is going to bring a big crowd up. They're going to call it the 12-yard line. He airmailed that one.
Aerodynamically sound, that kick was, being a mechanical engineer for an aeronautical company.
Gans, the special teams coach, says that this young guy had a very strong leg, and he's got a crooked left leg because he's had an automobile wreck that he's recovered from.
That's a guy, yeah, he took a leave of absence from his job, and you know, this wasn't his first drive, Brookie. He'd been cut by Atlanta, Green Bay, and Buffalo before he made it here.
He's got a mattress thrown in the car somewhere, right? Camp to camp.
Trunk slammer.
First and 10 now. A great kick has put Cavanaugh and company back in their own territory. Cavanaugh going up topside. Wendell Tyler, the 32-yard line, gets to the 35. Cavanaugh is having to get up. A 23-yard connection.
Cavanaugh has done an excellent job right here of coming up to the right man. Look at Wendell Tyler again now with a linebacker. That's Kranek, number 52, and there is no way. So Cavanaugh knows where his people are out there and who's covering them, and he's done an excellent job of picking them out.
Jody Schultz, the starter there, is out, and Kranek is in there, and obviously he just took a half a beat as Wendell got up close on him, and it was over. Out of the woods now, the 35-yard line. Cavanaugh in the I formation. Sophisticated football, folks. Cavanaugh going for all of it. He's going for Nehemiah, who's wide open at the 20-yard line. Bree Wilson can run a little bit, but Ronaldo Nehemiah ran right by him. The flags are down back at the 34-yard line. Boy, can Ronaldo go into that fifth gear.
Well, they set that one up, too, didn't they? They threw short to him. Holding against the Niners, they threw in that medium range to him, you know, around 12 yards. A couple times early, he'd go down about 18 yards and come back to 15 or 12, and this time they just sent him on the fly. As we mentioned, they might. Cavanaugh, if he has anything, has a stronger arm than Montana and can airmail it downfield. He got a pretty good shot there from number 71, Ken Clark. That's the kind of shot right there that Montana got hurt by.
You know, Nehemiah, a person that can run like that, they get up next to you, and it's almost like a high-performance engine sort of humming. They're not really exerting much.
Bob Hayes going by me once. I wasn't covering him, and I'll tell you, I was going across field, and I heard it. I didn't see him.
It's a whooshing sound. Cavanaugh moving in the pocket, overthrows Francis, who had some company anyway. And the Eagle defense looks like it might be trying to find out or figuring out what Cavanaugh is up to a little bit. They'll come with different sets. And they are also very sophisticated on defense, more so than physically overpowering. They can take away what you do very well as almost anybody.
We said they appeared to match up pretty well against the 49ers. Bill Walsh says that they're a zone team. He told us in our meeting yesterday the Eagles are a zone team, but they kind of play like a man-to-man within their zones, and it makes it tough on his offensive scheme.
2.5 minutes before the halftime here at Vet Stadium. Here's the rollout by Cavanaugh. Now he dumps the side armor, just missing Craig. And the Eagles are putting a lot of pressure now on the passer. Harrison that time and Anthony Griggs, the linebacker. And they don't come with a three-man rush. When that three gets into the play, it's usually 5 or 6 people that are coming, though they're not a big blitzing team. They put pressure on from different areas. Third down now in a bunch. 3rd and 20 facing Cavanaugh. Number 32 now comes in, Carl Monroe. He's a great little back circling out of the backfield. 3-0. They've scored 32 points average doing that. So the 49er defense hasn't won all the games, that's for sure. Wilson and Dwight Clark, the receivers. Here's the screen to Monroe. Monroe upended at the 32-yard line. Good defensive series for the Eagles. Herman Edwards making the stop there. Boy, Herm Edwards was happy to be sending the message back to Northern California. He went to Cal for a while before he went to San Diego State and has a lot of friends and family up in Northern California. The 2-minute warning now. A 7-3 San Francisco lead, and Rudiger's getting ready to punt it away.
These are some beautiful kids, and this is a beautiful city, and their support of the United Way makes me want to sing. I left my heart in San Francisco. I left my heart in San Francisco. Joe, you stay with football. I'll take care of the singing.
2:39 on the clock. Runninger will be punting. Jaworski doesn't have a lot of passing yardage yet, does he?
No, he doesn't. He's just 4 of 12 right now for 38 yards, and the Eagles have had that problem this season in the first 4 games, because you've got to include this one of really only getting their offense cranked up in the second half. Jaworski missed, I think, 10 passes in a row last week against Dallas in the first part of that game. So he's streaky. He can get hot on you, but most of his streaks here in the last, or at least the start of this season, have been on the negative side.
The trouble that Jaworski might be having is that his line it's young, and it's inconsistently young. And he's lost a Pro Bowl tackle, Sizemore, who's on the sidelines with a bad shoulder, and Stan Walters is now broadcasting the Eagle games, is retired. So 2 young tackles, you wonder where you're going to get it from time to time. And I think he's been a little bit, you know, walking on eggs in the pocket a little bit too much. He's a tough guy. I've seen him take some tremendous shots from linemen, and they're having some trouble with the clock. When we went to the 2-minute warning, somebody's hand must have dropped over on the go switch, because it's going to run itself out, and they'll run it back up to 2 minutes. Just wanted you people to realize that we're not doing triple header commercials on you or something. So that Jaworski, though, has had some fantastic years, really. In '80, he had 27 touchdowns and only 12 interceptions.
Well, you know, when you think about it, you can name, you know, Fouts and Montana and maybe Dan Marino now, and maybe 1 or 2 more. But then after that, you know, Jaworski's got to be right there.
Highest paid Eagle player of all time. Runninger's punt, a tremendous kick by the former Eagle. Ball hitting at the 18, taken at the 10 by Cooper. Cooper gets to the sidelines and then does a little running out of the bounds area, which isn't too bad either. Don't forget, back in the New York studio, the NFL Today, and next after, of course, our halftime, after this game, will be the Green Bay Packers against the Cowboys, or the mean, undefeated Chicago Bears against the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, I want to see some of that one. I want to see Walter Payton and Franco Harris getting it on nose-to-nose in that one. 58-yard punt there by Runninger. I'm sorry, Brookie.
It's okay, good punt.
I'll tell you what, he's coming off with a smile on his face, huh?
Yep, I just wondered how much information Walsh and company were able to get from him, and since he had been with the Eagles for 3 years and had known all the personnel and some of the things they like and don't like.
All depends how many meetings he went to. You know, sometimes those kickers don't have to go in the offensive and defensive meetings, but I'm sure that he told them some things about some tendencies and new people like Kenny Jackson, perhaps a wide receiver. You know, how fast is he really, and those kinds of things.
Walsh might have given him sodium pentothal and made him give the answers whether he wanted to or not. We're just kidding, of course, but this man has always been a textbook coach. I'm talking about Bill Walsh. He helped Fouts, they claimed, out of San Diego. Fouts says he helped him more than any coach he's ever been with, and Kenny Anderson still calls him on a regular basis just to say hi, because he owes a lot to this man when he was at Cincinnati. And Montana is his man. He said he is the most complete quarterback that he has ever worked with. That's quite a compliment. Jaworski in shotgun now on 1st and 10 with less than 2 minutes to go. We're not sure exactly how much time because the official clock is on the field. Here's Mike Quick at the 25. Quick. Let's see, it's about the 35 before he's forced out. As Homo does the job there. Tell you, Mike Quick explodes after he makes the catch. He seems to get longer and taller.
Well, that's exactly right. You know, you say, well, what does Mike Quick run a 40 in? Well, probably around 4.6 or something like that. But when he gets to 40 yards, he's picking up speed. He's a thoroughbred.
Big hurdler from North Carolina. Rookie year, he's average. Next year, he went to the Pro Bowl. This is his 3rd year, and he's humming again. 3 timeouts left for Philadelphia. And they trail 7-3. Jaworski going for a long one, and he has an open receiver at the 22-yard line. That's Kenny Jackson. Jackson got up on Eric Wright. It got a little too close, and he had to really wait for the ball a little bit.
Yes, but you know what happened? The AstroTurf got to Eric Wright. And you're going to see him stub his toe, Eric Wright, about 5-6 yards before Jackson makes this catch. See if we can see it right here now. Watch Eric Wright. He stumbled right there over that seam, and that kept him off the ball.
At the mound, huh?
Right.
A 44-yard strike, and Jaworski had to duck a blitzing linebacker that was just on his right side before he made the throw. Here's the young man that Joe Paterno thinks about as much of as anybody he's ever had graduate. and leave Penn State and go on to the pros. He always wanted to be an Eagle. I know that there are young men around that have Dallas as their team that they love to watch, or the Rams, or San Francisco, and for some reason he said he always wanted to be an Eagle. That made Marion Campbell very happy.
Marion said he's going to be a good one. He said he's got a way to go. He's got to get stronger, perhaps a little bigger. How Marion put it with us, he said he can't let anybody take the hamburgers off his plate. Your old friend, the Swamp Fox, has got some good sayings, I'll tell you.
He's coming up at halftime. Don't forget the scores and highlights with Brent Musburger and Irv Cross, our old buddy back in New York. And the legends of the game, the piece that I like so much that Irv is doing such a great job on. Ray Nitschke. What'd you guys in Detroit call him?
The Skull.
The Skull.
He was a pirate before there was even a Raider organization, I'll guarantee you that.
All that at halftime here on CBS. Marcia Broda and Marion Campbell now, the offense. Your defense has done the job, Swamp Fox, and now your offense needs points. A 7-3 San Francisco margin. 1:20 left on the clock. It's now working. Shotgun. There's the inside handoff to Montgomery. Montgomery getting outside. The flags are down. It looks like they're going to call Petey Perot for perhaps holding. Montgomery may have gotten a couple of yards and inside the 20.
It's a quick San Francisco defense, though, isn't it, Tom? And when he turned around the corner there, it looked like he had something going, and then all of a sudden a bunch of red shirts showed up on the scene.
Remember when San Francisco did this to Dallas in that catch game out there, the playoff game, when they started running against that prevent defense that Dallas threw up?
Well, the Eagles were probably keyed him in on that a year or so before.
26, 10-yard penalty.
Haddix, number 26, the back coming out.
We'll go one step further. Now, Wilbert had about 190 yards against the Cowboys in the last game of the year, in a playoff game against Dallas, and most of it was against the Dallas nickel.
Caught him in that nickel, and they blocked people that aren't ready to take on blocks. The time left, as you can see, 1:20. The ticker is now working. Let's have a water clock here at the vet. It's first down, and 20 to go after the penalty to Haddix. Eagle shotgun. Jaworski, well, they want a touchdown bad. The blitz is on. Jaworski reads it, gets it to the receiver. That's Woodruff that got his hands on the ball. And Mario Clark did a real good job of playing corner.
Doing an excellent job of covering out there this afternoon. He's been all over every pass that's been thrown his way. Number 29 we're talking about.
Again, when the secondary people are in on the call and they know it's a blitz, they can come up and play people a little tighter because the ball has to be thrown sooner. Team defense. And San Francisco really has had to do that because they've been banged up a lot on defense so far in '84. Second down and 20. 50 seconds on the clock, and it's ready. Jaworski, time, just gets it to Jackson, and they're going to call it a catch right in front of our camera there on the 20-yard line. There's a flag down on the far side, about the 26-yard line. Let's see what that's going to be.
Well, the Eagles are pointing at the Niners on this one.
Sometimes when they start twisting and making those stunts to get a pass rush, you can shove them all right in the middle. It's sort of a human ball right in the middle of the field. It looks like the Eagles blocked pretty well on that.
Defense number 65 was lined up in the neutral zone. Decline the penalty. It's going to be third down.
Lawrence Pillars tried to take no man's land away. That's supposed to be the length of the ball. You're not supposed to be there, but you and I both know that it looks like everybody's in that zone from time to time. This time they caught Lawrence. Declined by the Eagles. The Eagles still have 3 timeouts and 30 seconds. Montgomery is flanked to the bottom of the screen. Jackson and Quick to the top. Jaws. Knocked down and underthrown in the end zone, intended for Kenny Jackson, and Mario Clark knocked it down. The ball was underthrown. And there's another flag on the field. This one's at the 14. We're now charting where the flag drops.
Defense, number 79, lined up in the neutral zone at the 5-yard
Stuckey this time.
Well, you'll see what will happen so often is the offensive tackles in pass blocking situation will try to get as much room between them and a defensive end, and the line will bow back, and those defensive ends will crowd on up there. Sometimes the tackle's feet, if you'll look down on the line of scrimmage, half the time you'll see in a passing situation like this one, it's a sure passing situation. The offensive tackle's feet are further in the backfield than the quarterback's.
Boy, they are mad, too, those defensive ends, so they get caught for that. This time the Eagles took the penalty. There's over a minute left, by the way. We're notified the clock is running erratically again. It's a shotgun, and we know it's third down and about 3.5 to go. Not for sure. Jaworski gets it off. A diving try by Spagnola. Was it a catch and a fumble or no catch?
I think they're waving off the catch, yeah, Broogie.
They're going to call it incomplete. The ball was delivered, and Spagnola, who's caught 16 passes in 2 consecutive weeks, just didn't hang on to it.
It's a ball that could have been and should have been caught. Good throw by Jaworski.
So now the field goal attempt to get within a point. McFadden will try the field goal. Jaworski will hold it at the 22.5, so we'll call it a 32-yard field goal. This is the one area where McFadden has trouble. Over 40, he's solid, and up to 30, he's perfect. Uh-oh, look out. Oh.
Ball was deflected through.
A half wedge shot just cleared.
Somebody got a hand on it, but it still went through. Let's take a look at it again, and we'll watch Paul McFadden right here. Good surge by the 49ers. Here's the kick. And it was hit, but you can't tell who hit it, but someone deflected it, took the spin off it, and it kind of knuckled right through the goalpost.
And only Wergy will understand how good that feels to see it go over. A week ago.
Yeah, a week ago it happened to him.
And to see it go on through after you hear that thing hit by somebody's hand must be a shock indeed. Now the Eagles draw within a point, but they would really like to have had a touchdown. It seemed like they sort of had tempo on that series and self-destructed, so to speak. Well, the officials become a very big factor, don't they? Late in the quarter or the half or at the end of a game. Bill Walsh on the sidelines with Francis.
Ask that man there and then talk about that Washington playoff game last year. He'll tell you that the officials do become pretty important.
So, here's the kickoff by McFadden. This is a short kick. It's going to be a good run-back kick. Derek Harmon. Harmon's going to get to the outside. He can go from Cornell, friends, inside the 40-yard line in a hurry. The Eagles came down and got caught in the middle of the field, and Cooper barely got him out of bounds.
It's a good call by you, Brookie. Short kick, and he got it going forward with momentum, and then bounced it out to the left. The Ivy League Player of the Year last year from Cornell. 49ers spotted him at a prospect camp. Their scouting organization brought a lot of people up to Seattle, where several of the teams were looking at guys, and they liked him a lot. Liked what he did in the drills, and they could catch the ball, and brought him in.
Maxie Vaughn's up there.
He's made it, yeah.
Our old linebacking friends coaching up there. I like the 49ers because everybody sort of fits into the total puzzle picture, you know, like you've just seen. Everybody makes a contribution. Here's Wendell Tyler dancing, and he can moonwalk right through a hole. In fact, a lot of people think he's one of the few backs that can make a cut at the line of scrimmage and not lose any speed.
The 49ers call a timeout here to stop the clock, and they're the only ones that know how much time is left because the clock on the scoreboard here is not working or keeping it on the field.
This is where Ben Franklin flew the kite and discovered electricity and everything else, and we don't have a clock that works here in this stadium. It's rather embarrassing. There's Francis Wendell Tyler, who is on his way, by the way, to his finest rushing year. He's averaging like 90 yards a game rushing. And that's about all San Francisco needed to do, was to be able to rush the football and be really a complete team. 39 seconds left now. We're notified by the Chinese way of notifying us. The clock is out. It's been shot out. 39 seconds left. 49ers with 2 timeouts left, I believe. Solomon is in and Dwight Clark. Clark to the bottom of your screen. And that's where Cavanaugh decides to go to the short man, and Roger Craig spikes this one away as Bree Wilson was closely covering him there.
Roger Craig a little disgusted with himself. This is just one of those cases that you hear so many times where I think he started to run just a bit before the ball got there. Here he is out in the flat. Got a good view of it.
Somebody must have rolled over there and taken Dwight Clark away from him the last minute, but looked like he wanted to have another play or two. 3 for 8 on third downs. And that's what this one is.
You got to figure now about 30 ticks left on the clock.
Wendell Tyler is out flanked to the right. Now he's in motion. This is a toss back to Craig, trying to run against that nickel defense. Gets to the 22 and a first down. Wes Hopkins stops him there.
I tell you, Wendell Tyler came back in motion that time and got a good block on the outside linebacker.
Nope.
Watch it right here, the toss to Craig, and you can't see it, but the reason he got around the corner was Tyler's block on Cranack.
So if you go into a nickel too early or on the wrong play with these teams, they'll run that ball at you, and they have the people that can break it. That's what the Eagles did earlier with Montgomery. They're the numbers on Roger Craig. Nice young man, isn't he?
Boy, he really is.
He fits into our program.
Had a sensational rookie year last year for the 49ers.
San Francisco now with 1 timeout left. Of course, they have the kicker, one of the great consistent kickers of all time, Ray Wersian over there, Mo, who would love to be called in, make it 3 points, but Walsh is probably going for more than that. And the Eagles have really straightened themselves out in the second period and are playing at least even with San Francisco. 1st and 10. 1 timeout left, and we're not sure on the clock. Craig remaining back. Roll right. Clark grabs it at the 3-yard line. They're going to call it a catch. I don't know how he got him down. Wes Hopkins was there, but Dwight Clark is a big target.
6'4", and I don't think he did get him down, but I think what they're going to call is he would have come down in bounds had not the defensive back pushed him out. Let's see, it's a good throw by Cavanaugh. Rolls out right, throws on the run, watch the feet, one in, and I guess they would have said it. Clark would have got him down, but Herman Edwards knocked him out before that second foot could get down, and Cavanaugh likes it.
Pretty close call.
You bet.
I'm not so sure he could have gotten his feet down unless they're size 16 triple E's or something.
Well, you and I played defense. We're always going to feel that way.
Cavanaugh now 13 of 22 for 182, and of course the touchdown pass to Craig. Good throw there on the run by the number 2 quarterback. Now what a great feeling to have that you can bench your all-pro Super Bowl quarterback Montana because of injury and come out with this young man and still play so well.
You know, you mentioned earlier that, you know, this 49er team is a real close team and real relaxed, and I think part of the reason is that all these guys get in the ball game. He uses them all. You saw Derek Harmon, and you see Jeff Fuller in special situations, Ron Ferrari. Everybody feels like they contribute on this team, and it's good for the base morale. Bill Walsh says even when Mario Clark came over from Buffalo, he was just totally impressed with the atmosphere around here. And they use a lot of people and keep them busy, and it makes for a happy team and a good team.
You know, when you're going back on a long flight, like back to San Francisco, if you haven't played, even though the team wins, if you don't have a lump or two or a bruise, you don't feel like you're part of it.
Yeah, you don't have anything to talk about.
But we always had our shares of bruises and lumps. 1st and goal, San Francisco with a real big, important drive. And that's a touchdown. Solomon making a juggling catch, dancing a bit, but getting them down, and Cavanaugh gets his 2nd touchdown pass.
Well, Freddie Solomon is so quick. He had Albert Fowles, number 29, on the coverage. Solomon went inside on him a little bit. Fowles kind of, I think he thought that he pushed off a little bit, but he got the step right there on him, and Cavanaugh had it on the money.
Big drive and in a hurry. Wersian now for the extra point. He doesn't look up once he gets out there. He just finds Montana. Found him again. Dead solid perfect. And suddenly it's an 8-point margin.
It shows you how important special teams are. That run back by Derek Harmon is the thing that got the 49ers down in shape for this 6 points in the last 30 seconds.
Remember we were talking to Bum Phillips about special teams? I said, how important are they? He said they're not unless you don't do them well. He says because you can have a bad running play and you have 30 more running plays to get better at it. But he said a punt return or a kickoff, you only get maybe one shot a game, and if you play it badly, it can hurt you.
And it was a combination that hurt the Eagles on that one. It was a short kick by McFadden and then poor tackling and coverage on the kickoff team.
We're notified by Carrier Pigeon that there are 12 seconds left on the clock here at the Vet Stadium. Don't forget, the second game on our doubleheader day. Well, it's a good lineup. The Packers and the Cowboys. There'll be some fur flying in that baby. Or you can get to see the Chicago Bears and the Seattle Seahawks. Peyton and Franco Harris. I think they'll break Jimmy Brown's total yardage record. I mean, Peyton's pretty close now.
They're close, so it's just a matter who's going to do it first, and I think my money's on number 34, the Bears.
I have a feeling he might be doing it today on that second game of the doubleheader. Handled by a member of the wedge. That's Struthers who brings it out. Wersing tried to kick that one a little low and tried to get it into that vacuum area back there so that nobody could run it back at all. 11-yard return. Probably the highlight of Struthers' baseball or football life. Less than 12 seconds. After that 52-yard kickoff return, 37 yards in 5 plays. Solomon with the TD catch. Kavanaugh's second touchdown pass. Jaworski now in shotgun with 8 seconds left. Big rush looking for the screen. They get it this time. Montgomery between people finds a lane, and Montgomery gets to the outside, and they're keeping the clock rolling as he tries to crawl out of bounds. Williamson barely tripped up Wilbert Montgomery.
They just announced that the half is over.
Yeah, they have town criers back east here, you know. And so it's 14-6, San Francisco, and we made it to the half.
Is sponsored by the new Chrysler Corporation. We don't want to be the biggest, we just want to be the best. Sears, where you'll find great values. There's more for your life at Sears. And by AT&T, the more you hear, the better we sound.
Welcome back to New York. I'm with two guys who are ready to play right now. Irv Cross and Jimmy Brown. They're in better shape than they were with the Eagles and Browns. You know, we're going into San Francisco, Jim. It just reminded me, Wendell Tyler was picked up from the Rams. What do you think of Wendell as a running back?
Well, I think Wendell has tremendous natural talents. I think that he's never been coached correctly. And unfortunately, you know, he is a fumbler in a certain sense in key situations. That can be corrected if some coach knew what to do.
What would you tell him to do?
I don't have time to say it on the program, but it would be very simple. He'd have to be taught when to hold the ball in a certain way and when not to. Because Walter Payton carries it out here, but he doesn't have the same problem because he's intelligent enough to know when to hold it out than when to pull it in.
So it's timing.
Yes, and also understanding the full game, the philosophy of the game.
Jim, let's take everybody to the scoreboard now. Get them up to date. We got some other running backs we'll ask you about as we go along. As you know, of course, the 49ers, 2 touchdown passes by Matt Cavanaugh. They do not miss Joe Montana that much. They're dominating the Eagles, 14-6. Jets are all over Buffalo, and the wind up in Buffalo, 21-10 right now. The Rams and Cincinnati have just started the second half. Eric Dickerson has the only touchdown. Jim, what do you think of Eric?
I think he's the best in the game right now. Tremendous back. Great balance, great speed, great rhythm. The only thing, he might be a little soft at sometimes, but I think John Robinson can take care of that.
All right, now, St. Louis and New Orleans. And Herb, we have another one of those fullback option plays to talk about in this case.
We're seeing this play more and more this year, Brent. Hokie Gaijon, the halfback here, takes a pitch to his right, stands up and tosses a 34-yard pass to Wayne Wilson. Now, the reason that's effective is because you can suck those linebackers up there. Of course, Todd had a pretty good day, 6 for 15, 139 yards, and he just took a break there, having Gaijon throw that touchdown pass for him. But the Cardinals come right back. Neil Lomax looking for his back. Earl Farrell coming out of the backfield for an 11-yard strike, and the Cardinals have the ability, Brent, to come back quickly.
Now Houston and Atlanta, Irv, and Houston's going to have to come back. Warren Moon has just tossed a touchdown pass, but the Falcons scored the first 3 times they handled the ball, 21-10 now in the third quarter of that game. Minnesota and Detroit seesaw, and Vikings lead it 2 Jan Stenerud field goals, 16-14 there at the half of that game. Pittsburgh and Cleveland had a nasty day, and the Browns, oh, how they could use a big running back with number 32 in that one. Steelers lead it by 7. Sam Washington's 5th interception of the day put him on the board. Now, Washington ahead of New England. They started the third quarter. Jim, how about John Riggins? Does he appeal to you at all?
Oh, yes. The last 3 years, John has been the most intense football player, I guess, in the league. Ball control, nobody can compare it to him. You watch him right here. Great blocking right here, but you see him going forward. You see the power. Now, the execution blocking-wise is great. You see the power. He runs over people, and he has that great speed that very few people realize that he has.
You know, to update running back situations, Pete Johnson was traded to Miami. He cleared his physical exam. He will be able to play for the Dolphins. And then just moments ago, the big back who was expected to replace Johnson, Larry Kennebrew for the Bengals, he got into the end zone. Extra point was kicked now, and Cincinnati has tied 7-7. Jim, it amazes me that the big backs in the league are able to take as much punishment as they do. I mean, they get whacked coming up the middle there.
Well, it amazes me, too, because, well, a lot of them are getting hurt now because I think the conditioning program is great, yet, as I said earlier, and I hate to say it, there is a cocaine problem within the league, and you cannot play under the influence of cocaine.
Can they cure the cocaine problem, Jim? If players like you, former players, continue to speak up about it?
I think so. That's why I'm speaking up, because I think Cleveland has a great program there. Warfield is doing a wonderful job, and I think they've helped quite a few of their players. All
right. And the National Football League today continues on CBS after these messages from your local stations. You know, back in the 60s when Vince Lombardi's Packers were tearing up the National Football League, the Superman of their defense was a balding middle linebacker by the name of Ray Nitschke. Now, Ray is still close to the Packers these days, but right now he's playing the role of Clark Kent on Green Bay's version of the Daily Planet, as Irv Cross tells us in this Legends of the Game profile.
Each week during the NFL season, 25,000 copies of the Green Bay Packer Report roll off this machine behind me and route to newsstands and homes all over the Midwest.
The paper's publisher has a vested interest in the Packers. Through 15 professional seasons and a pair of Super Bowl victories, he was their middle linebacker. A real-life Clark Kent, right down to his horn-rimmed glasses, whose mild-mannered disposition disappeared the moment he stepped onto a football field. I give you the editor-in-chief of the Green Bay Packer Daily Planet, Hall of Famer Ray Nitschke. Every defense has a leader, and Green Bay, number 66, was the man.
Coach Lombardi and our defense coach would come up to me and say, Ray, let's get these guys going, you know, just before the ball game, to get the tempo, to get the guys emotionally aroused early in the game. And so really early in the ball game, I was hoping that they run the play right at me because I wanted to make that first hit and get the other guys fired up.
He played every down with a vengeance, even on the Green Bay practice field.
When you went to block Nitschke, you knew you had to scrimmage. Otherwise, you might get one of those big forearms in your teeth and come off with your ears ringing.
Nitschke delighted in good, clean contact, and occasionally, he'd sneak in a good, swift kick. I remember an interview after one of your playoff games with Tom Brookshire. He called you an animal. What was your reaction to that?
Well, I didn't take it too kindly. You know, in that, boy, you know, the position of playing linebacker, you got to be real aggressive and you got to be tough and you got to be mean on the field. And Brookshire said it, the Green Bay Animal. He said, here, I want you to meet the Green Bay Animal. So I was really hurt by that. But I know where Tommy was coming from. I knew he was making it as a compliment that I was aggressive, that I was trying to play hard, and that I was as mean as I possibly could on the field.
When it comes to middle linebackers, the publisher of Green Bay's Daily Planet takes a strong editorial position.
I'd rate right up there in the top. I think You know, that's the way, you know, when I went on the football field, Irv Cross, I was the best football player on the field. So what I'm saying is that I don't think there's anybody been any better than Ray Nitschke.
I think he was right. I'll tell you, the greatest one-on-one duels I ever saw. Mike Ditka coming off the line of scrimmage and trying to crash down to get Nitschke out of every play when the Bears and Packers had made up.
Yeah, those were real wars, you know, Brent, but he said he was never injured because as a middle linebacker, he was stepping forward, trying to stay away from that contact. Nobody got him.
All right, let's send you back to the stadium now in the game you're enjoying on CBS.
All right, it was good to see Raymond. Mr. Nitschke looked like he still had his jersey on underneath his dress shirt, right? 14-6 ball game. Actually, maybe the 49ers are fortunate. They're a little bit flat with their second quarterback to be playing an Eagle team is sort of on the rebuild right now. What do you think?
Well, I think the Eagles did a pretty good job on defense.
Yeah.
You know, they gave up some yards. Kavanaugh did not have a bad first half, but it's the old rubber band thing. You know, they bent a little bit, but they didn't break. We're not past the game plan stage here. You know, it's still only 14-6, so they can come out here at the start of the second half and begin again what they wanted to do at the start of the game. If the Eagles want to run the ball, they can still do it. 49ers, they can go into that arsenal of theirs. Here's the first touchdown
pass.
Right, this is at the viewpoint of Jerry Robinson, the linebacker that Roger Craig ran by, and Kavanaugh with a nice touch on this ball. Craig just staying in bounds. Looked like Bree Wilson thought he had him out about the 4, but he didn't. This made it 7-0.
What a great advantage to have both backs that can catch it and are fast like that. You know, your fullback is also quick.
No question. Now, Philadelphia crept up to within 1. It was 7-6 at this point. 49ers, after a Derek Harmon return on the kickoff, get this one, Kavanaugh to Solomon, and that's where we are now, 14-6.
And make no mistake, Derek Harmon's 51-yard kickoff return that set up that last one might be one of the big plays in this game. He's quite a young player.
Well, it certainly is right now. You know, they say it's 1/3 of the game, no special teams. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, but that was a big one for sure.
And keep in mind that the 49ers, at least the first 3 games they've all won, they had a time in the 3rd and 4th period where they couldn't do anything right and couldn't move the ball. And if that happens today, the Eagles might crawl back and get very close in this game yet.
Just like in a season, Tom, you know, you go through a game and it's 60 minutes and you have ups and downs and you have lulls and you never know when they're going to happen and when they're going to occur. So we've got it right here going. San Francisco 14, Philadelphia 6 at the half. We'll be right back.
Sponsored by General Motors. Extra effort and attention to every detail. GM is committed to excellence. Liberty Mutual Insurance Company. We're going to be there for you. And by Honda Motorcycles, inventors of the ATC 3-wheelers. Honda, follow the leader.
Tom Brookshire and Wayne Walker getting ready for the second half of this contest, the 49ers and the Eagles. The barefooted one will be kicking off, Paul McFadden. Tony Franklin is in New England now, and Derek Harmon is at the 4-yard line. He just brought one back 51 yards. He breaks out again. The flags are flying, and so is Harmon. He flies to the 30-yard line in a hurry. Waters made the tackle. Ben Dreit's crew has been extremely active. The clock looks like it has been fixed and repaired.
Derek Harmon right there, rookie that looks like he got dinged a little bit hauling that thing back.
Number 52 on the receiving team.
Number 52 on the receiving team with an illegal block.
You can look at it right here, Derek Harmon, number 24. Now, this is the way you run kickoffs. You just got to head up there and get what you can get. And if you happen to pop it, fine, but you can't get back there and dance, and he didn't.
Blanchard Montgomery, the infraction, he's one of the special team kamikaze players. It's done so much, really. He got caught this time. The Kavanaugh offense will start right on the 10-yard line, 1st and 10. Francis in motion. The drive series to Tyler. It's outside. Wendell Tyler upended at the 15. Were you surprised that the 49ers did not run this way a lot during the first half?
Well, it kind of was. What did we figure out? Kavanaugh threw the ball 23 times. I didn't think that really they put the ball in the air that much. Wendell Tyler bounced out there and took a pretty good shot.
He stays healthy, moves the football. He's a big play running back.
That was Fowles over there that made that hit. But now Bernard Wilson is out of this ball game.
Well, the Eagles are really hurting in the secondary. Here's the handoff, strong side run with Tyler. Pretty well bottled up by the Eagle defense. Riggs went under the pile of blockers. We don't know if Jody Schultz, the young outside linebacker, is back in yet for the Eagles. I believe he is. Number 53 is back there. He left early in the ball game with a sprain, not the knee injury that he had a year ago. Bigfoot Harrison, 285 pounds of him on the ground, as Otho Davis, the trainer's talking to the big fellow from Vanderbilt.
Been bothered with injuries here the last couple of seasons, and Marion Campbell said it really hurt him because of the fact that last year he couldn't lift weights at all and his strength went down.
It's in there, the USC product, second-year man, and they're running right at it again. Wendell Tyler running at Darby, who's just come in there. Tyler gets to the 24. That's Carl Monroe, pardon me, number 32 that's in there. He and Wendell do look a little bit alike in their styles. Now Tyler comes back in.
Well, hit it up in there pretty good, too.
Scores from other games. Let's see if the upsets are continuing as a normal pattern. The Redskins, 20-0 over New England. Looks like the secondary started to play for Washington again. Minnesota back on top of Detroit. There's a surprise, 23-14 in the third.
Especially in Detroit's building.
First and 10 now for the San Francisco 49ers. Unbeaten. Tyler bounces outside, gets to the 29-yard line. Clever little runner. Fowles making the tackle there. He and Jerry Robinson. Looks like the 49ers are going to use the clock a little bit in the second half.
Also, it looks like they're going to use Keith Fahnhorst a little, too. What have they had about 4 straight plays now over to that right side behind big number 71. Working against Darby, the gentleman who came in for Dennis Harrison, who is injured. Look at it right here. Fahnhorst 71 gets him turned in, stalemates him right there.
Boy.
And you don't do it much better than that.
Technique, and he's still a very physical player, too. Fahnhorst, if he doesn't go to the Pro Bowl this year, you know, he ought to pick it down there when they have the game in Hawaii or wherever it is. Kavanaugh, inside handoff. Good defensive play because Tyler was really getting it underway on a quick trap up the middle. He followed Craig in there, and it looked like Greg Brown came down from the backside and made a heck of a tackle. 11:55. You can see the clock is now ticking. It looks like something from the USS Saratoga that's up there, but that is a stadium clock here. Third down and 2 to go for a first down. The crowd is very, very quiet on a beautiful afternoon. The Eagle offense has had a couple of spurts. A long catch by Kenny Jackson from Jaworski, but other than that, it's been praying something will happen. Kavanaugh now doesn't get the look he wants and calls timeout. Very intelligent way of checking yourself before you make a mistake. But just sleepy is another. Montana's been on the sidelines watching, getting well. Third down and 2. Tyler on the toss makes it. He's to the 44-yard line, and they're going to call a face mask as the flag flies. Bernard Wilson holding on there. Weak side toss play, and number 26 makes it happen so quickly.
5-yard face mask on number 22. 5 yards.
Inadvertently grabbed. You take anything you can.
Right there, Bernard Wilson, number 22, as he takes Tyler down.
Tyler shot a pretty good stiff arm in there on Bernard, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Pretty good right cross.
We were saying, Wayne, all the times I've been around Philadelphia football, I've never seen a crowd quite as quiet as this. A large crowd that is not hostile toward anybody or anything. They're just sitting in the sunshine watching the local team trail by 8. Highly unusual. Nehemiah is in the game at the bottom of the screen. And he's getting the ball delivered to him. Ronaldo Nehemiah has it knocked away at the last minute by Fowles. The ball might have been underthrown a little bit, but Ronaldo was off and running.
Pretty good coverage, too, by Fowles, who gained a little bit up as the ball was just a touch underthrown. Nehemiah had a step, maybe a step and a half when Kavanaugh originally released, but Fowles did a good job. Remember, Bernard Wilson started over there at cornerback, but now Wes Hopkins is hurt, and Wilson had to move to safety, so it's Fowles out there now, and he was all alone with Nehemiah and did a pretty good job.
You know, coaches don't tell you what their game plan is, but Bill Walsh says we'd like to sort of feature him a little tomorrow because he can do certain things that maybe the young secondary people can't handle, and they've done it. They almost had a touchdown. A sack on Kavanaugh by Greg Brown, who took the inside on Harris, I believe, and came inside and made a sack. He is a quick rush from the outside on the pass. Let's go to New York City for an NFL update and Brent Musburger.
Rookie, the Minnesota Vikings and their specialty team. New coach, but they don't change. Greg Coleman pounds a punt downfield. Robbie Martin of the Lions will receive it, but he's going to get fumbled as he gets ripped to the ground. And Chris Martin, 94, scoops it up and goes in for the touchdown. And right now, you can see the score is reflected on the screen. Let's go back to Brookie.
Vikings are playing total football now. Their special teams are helping them, and you've got to have all cylinders going now. Kavanaugh quickly trying to readjust and get it to Francis, who's sort of hog-tied at the 49, and looks like Fowles got away with it.
Great play. Great play. Over the back and around with a hand in there and knocked the ball down. I tell you, because, I tell you, Francis can block out the sun sometimes. He gets his body in the right position, and we're talking Fowles only at 5'11". Francis about 6'4", 6'5", and over the top. A leapfrog.
A takedown. A good play by the young quarterback who was tested 3 or 4 times. The punter, Runniger, goes down, tries to fake it, and they may be calling the punter for faking a roughing penalty. Let's see what Ben Grice does.
I'll bet you that's what it is. A new rule this year.
A 47-yard punt, a 5-yard return, but you can't overact anymore. They're going to have to get them in.
That's a personal foul on the kicker for trying to draw a penalty. Yeah.
They're going to have to get these guys after a cards.
He's close to blocking it again. And also came close to contact. But look at Ben Drive right back there watching it all. He's about 6 feet away. If he can't see it from there, nobody can see it.
That was a pretty good fake. Nobody ever penalized Clark Gable. Ben Drive did, the big man from Denver.
Like on the kicker, trying to draw a penalty. That's a 15-yard penalty.
It's going to bring it back, and Runniger will have to punt now from probably around his own 20-yard line before he gets the kickoff. Could make a big difference in the game before you get through. The Eagles have had 2 penalties for 15 yards. San Francisco, 7 penalties.
You don't often see Phil Walsh get that upset over on the sideline, but he had a few words.
He probably asked if it's all right to fake giving the ball to a fullback and give it to the halfback.
His upset is one of Mike Ditka's good days.
That's right. Runniger did not get a good kickoff this time. Taken very quickly by Cooper. And he is stacked up. And there's a flag down at the 40-yard line. Tempers are flaring. The officials, including Ben Drive, are trying to keep control of it. A 34-yard punt, a 7-yard return by Cooper. Nothing is tougher than being an NFL official. The Zebras work for it.
Number 59 on the receiving team, illegal block on the back.
Number 59 on the receiving team. That's Joel Williams, I believe, the linebacker who peels back on that. So now to offset what possibly was overacting, I don't know what else we can call it, the officials have stabilized the situation here in the third period. 10:23 left in the third. And the flags are flying. It was 5-0 back in 1952 under my old coach later, Lawrence T. Buck Shaw. But Bill Walsh, the man you saw, has them 3-0 coming out of the gate in 1984. And that's pretty decent. Here's Jaworski off the hands of Jackson. Or Wilbert Montgomery, pardon me, number 31, not 81. I don't know if the sun is coming right over the roof into Wilbert's eyes on that, but that went in and out. Third quarter is the one where you want to get on top of San Francisco and beat on them a bit. QB Oliver and Wilbert Montgomery in the backfield. Quick. The dynamic receiver is to the bottom of the screen. Kenny Jackson to the top. They're going to throw it. This is the outkick. Second down 10. Jaworski on a straight drop back. Oh, he got some rush right in his face, and Spagnola would have had to make a tough catch at the 44. And Jaws that time had somebody reaching right over the blocker to get him. Stuckey, I believe, is the one exerting the pressure. Let's go to New York City now for an update with Brent Musburger.
Rookie, here's the play of the day so far. Los Angeles Rams, Ron Brown, the Olympic gold medalist, breaks free. Watch the circus catch on the toss by Kemp. And the Rams go ahead 14-7. What a play. Let's go back to Brookie.
Of course, the Rams right in this division with San Francisco, New Orleans, and Atlanta. And there are a lot of football games yet to play. 3 games does not a season make. Here's the attack with Jaworski going outside. Good catch by Kenny Jackson, who came back to catch the ball and protected it like a cagey veteran that time. 15-yard reception.
Out of the shotgun now, and this is a long throw by Jaworski. Downfield a good ways because they had 10 yards to go for the first down, and then across the field, and he had a lot on it. Eric Wright, number 21, was there defending. But it was executed almost perfectly.
Some of the rookie mistakes that a person like Jackson has been making is not protecting the ball and putting it away. That time he came back to catch it, so it looks like he is learning. The Eagles with a little bit of a move inside. Hubie Oliver. A quick draw that maybe gets a yard and a half or so. What's the story on Fred Dean? Is he just incommunicado? Is he out of the picture completely for the 49ers?
There hasn't been much talk about any movement in that situation. Of course, Dean, they had a contract with the 49ers and decided he wanted to renegotiate it. He didn't show up, and they have him on the did not report or involuntary retired list or whatever it is they call it. And I imagine that there is some dialogue, but we haven't heard much in the last 10 days or so.
There's a 4-down lineman rush coming on by San Francisco right now. He would have been a part of that. There it is. Wilbert Montgomery breaking tackles and gets inside the San Francisco 40. There's your steady diet if you're an Eagle rooter. Give it to 31, and the tempo of the offense seems to come up.
Just going to say, this will do a lot to lift an offense right here. Subconsciously, it helps the offensive lineman to know if they can just get a guy a seam or a crack right here, he's going to do this with it. He's been their bread and butter.
Peter Perot down in front of Wilbert Montgomery. The quiet man. He always let his ball carrying do his talking for him. A very humble, shy person that can really mobile. 1st and 10, handoff. Hubie Oliver now on the quick trap up the middle to the 31-yard line, and suddenly the Eagle fans and the team are coming up.
I was going to say that crowd is up off their hands right now. At least they got them. They're putting it together a little bit.
Scores from those other games. The Rams, with that speed they suddenly have now, 14-7 over the Bengals in the 4th. Minnesota 23, Detroit 21. Don't bet on that one. At 2nd down 2 right here. Eagles with some ginger now in the offense. Handoff. Montgomery waiting for the Perot block. Steps through a couple of tacklers and gets the first down on his own. Jack Reynolds had to tackle him sort of from behind.
That was a good, tough run to get the 2 yards and more. Carlton Williamson did a good job of coming up. The strong safety, he was there. Took on a block and made a pile, and Wilbert run right through it.
Wilbert's like Walter Payton in that respect, that when you make the contact, that's when he starts to work. Walter always would do that. They get into the big lineman, and then if the lineman thinks it's over, and that's when they're just starting to fight. Montgomery with 49 yards on 10 carries. First and 10 called by Ron Jaworski. Best Eagle drive, really, of the afternoon. Knocked in the air and caught by Kenny Jackson, then dropped. The ball was spiked by a couple of 49ers. Jack Reynolds and Dwight Hicks, I believe, might have been involved in it. The ball went 30 feet in the air.
Brookie, on every one of these short drop passes, Jaworski's been staring down the receiver. Did the same right here. Kenny Jackson runs a turn at about 6-8 yards. Trying to see who was out there. Was it Mario Clark, number 29, who got tipped? Jackson got it back, and then some people come over there and stripped him of the ball.
Mario had that short zone, and I believe Jaworski hit him right in the helmet with it. I don't believe Mario realized the ball was heading his way till it hit. Jaws with that big right arm tried to put a hole in Mario Clark's helmet. 10. Jaworski with a lot of time. Misses Spagnola, and there's a flag dropped away from a lot of action, way back on the 15-yard line. Now remember, the 49ers play crowding, tough defense.
Illegal contact, number 49 on the defense. That's a 5-yard penalty and a first down.
That's Jeff Fuller. Illegal contact. That might mean anything. It'll be an automatic first down, of course, and the movement of the sticks. 8 penalties against San Francisco. They're a pretty intelligent team. That's unusual.
That's a lot for them.
First and 10 on the 22. Crowd beginning to sit up a little bit. The Eagles got something going. Long call by the quarterback. Straight drop out to Wilbert Montgomery in the flat. And Keena Turner has gotten to know Wilbert extremely well in one afternoon.
Keena Turner, can he close or what?
Cleveland 10-7 over Pittsburgh in the third. Washington now with a touchdown scored by the Patriots. Keena Turner had not had a chance to play against Wilbert because Montgomery did not play a year ago at Candlestick against his team. Kenny Jackson and Mike Quick are flanked to the bottom of the screen. There's Keena Turner. What a linebacker he is. Montgomery is out, split to the right side, the top of the screen. Jaworski. In and out of Mike Quick's hands. Number 53 was waiting for him to come into his own, Milt McCall, and Mike Quick might have seen the linebacker.
See number 53 McCall, Ricky Ellison also in there. Watch him. He's going to make it tough for anybody that wants to come across that middle, running a short pattern. He played the ball pretty well. And then McCall got the shot.
Took his legal shot. Quick trying to run between those office buildings called linebackers these days. That McCall is some specialist. He got 3 sacks, didn't he, against the Skins on a Monday night appearance. He was coast to coast. Third down now and 8 on the 20-yard line. The shotgun. Jaworski's got a lot of time. He's got an open receiver. It's out of Quick's hands. Mike Quick had just gotten behind Dwight Hicks, and he is slow getting up. He had a bad case of the flu all week. He said, don't worry, Sunday I'll be there, but this looks like he came down in that hard end zone.
Right here now, he had Quick running a quarter over on the right side. He had Wilbert Montgomery over on the left. If he would have looked at the other side, Montgomery was wide open. This one was here. Quick goes up, gets his hands on it, and would have come down with the touchdown, but couldn't hold on, and he is still down over in the corner of the end zone.
69 catches a year ago. So you have to understand what a force he has become in the Eagle offensive plans. This will be a 37-yard field goal attempt by Paul McFadden.
Quick last year had 1,400 yards, went over 1,400 yards in pass reception yardage. That's the best in the National Football League since Don Maynard back in 1967. So you could say that Quick had a gigantic season for the Eagles last year.
Came in here with 13 catches already, and he's getting double teamed and has allowed Spagnola to have a lot of freedom in making his catches. They're still administering to Quick, but they've moved him off the playing field. And McFadden now will go ahead and take his field goal attempt. There's a good sign. He is standing on both of them.
Yeah.
5 of 7 from this distance. 38-yard attempt. Jaworski's the holder, don't forget. Uh-oh. San Francisco claims the Eagle center is the one that caused them to jump. Ben Grice crew having
defense made contact.
It'll be the encroachment rule called against San Francisco.
Not enough for a first down.
It will just move the field goal attempt to the The crowd wants Marion Campbell's offense to go for it, but they're going to go for 3. 9 penalties against San Francisco. Now the crowd's getting excited.
Now they sound like Philadelphia fans.
Oh, you're awful. A 35-yarder. It's good. And so they did go for it. The Eagles went for 3 points and made it a 33-yard field goal by McFadden. Pretty good drive. Good like that. All 9 points. Here's the kickoff by McFadden. Monroe at the 2. Monroe gets through a hole. Cuts back. He's trying to get to this sideline that is pulled down by Waters. But not after a good return out to about the 47-yard line.
Carl Monroe, he's kind of pinned in the corner here, headed it up. Derek Carman was in front of him. Not touched. Look at this. He's down to around the 25 now and has not been touched. Broke a couple tackles there. It's a 168-pounder breaking tackles too, Brookie. You got to like his desire.
44-yard return. His longest till now this year was 28. Tell you, the 2 kickoff returns have given Cavanaugh great field position right before the half, and right now with 5:50 left in the 3rd period. Cavanaugh on play action, a lot of time to throw it and wide open. This big Russ Francis, and it's no catch. He stepped out of bounds. Russ thought he had it under control. Cavanaugh's calm. What he's saying to himself is, I can't believe it.
So Cavanaugh had the tight end spotted again on the linebacker, and he's gone to that about 3 or 4 times today. When he spotted one of his receivers working against the linebacker, got it there, but Francis was just out of bounds.
Good play action. Really paralyzed the linebackers for the Eagles. They never made a move. It was a wide open route that Russ Francis was running. The numbers 14 of 26, 2 TDs. And he's the second quarterback. Quickly, Wendell Tyler flips to the 47-yard line. And nobody hits that hole any quicker than Wendell Tyler. Jody Schultz catapulted him up in the air there.
A little short trap inside. Randy Cross. Tyler off behind that. We talked to Jerry Robinson yesterday at practice, the inside linebacker for the Eagles, and he knows Wendell well from their UCLA days, and he said, nobody, and I guarantee you nobody gets to the line faster.
And you know, the blockers love that because he hits that trap block just as they're making contact. There's no recovery time. 3rd down and 3 facing the 49ers. Eagles had most of the play in the second half so far. Craig inside the 45, going to be close to the 1st down. Linebacker Gregg's making the stop there. Gregg already has that touchdown catch in the 1st quarter. It's going to be enough for a first. And Drive gives us the signal. The shadows are getting a little longer here on the artificial surface. The 49ers, by the way, are 8-1 on artificial surfaces over the last couple of years, aren't they? It's rather an interesting stat.
I think that's because they're an extremely quick team, quicker than most.
That explains it, Wayne. 1st and 10 now. Play action pass Cavanaugh, missing Clark by a mile. Big pressure by Denny Harrison that time. Don't forget, coming up next, it's a doubleheader day for CBS Sports. The Green Bay Packers against the Cowboys. That's been a great series for as long as I can remember. And you might see Chicago going against the Seattle Seahawks. The Bears defense is completely madcap.
Interesting that when Vince Ferragamo got hurt for the Rams tried to get Danny White from the Cowboys, and Tom Landry said, no, sir. Maybe he's not quite sure about that other quarterback down there.
Mike Wilson is outflanked to the top of the screen. Cavanaugh is 0 for 4 in the second half. Misdirection handoff. This is Craig, and he is slammed back by Jody Schultz.
Schultz is a great story, I tell you. They from East Carolina. This is his 2nd year. Marion Campbell, the head coach here at Philadelphia, came out to watch Temple play East Carolina, and he said to one of his friends on East Carolina staff, do you have a good pass rusher? And he said, well, we do, but we're not sure whether he's going to be big enough to play in the NFL. And Swamp Fox Marion right there took a look at Schultz and said, I like him. And then watched him in the game and liked him more. So here he is, and doing a good job for him.
7 for 13 on third down, San Francisco. And the Fox knows this is a big defensive series right now. It's 3rd and 12. 3rd and 12. Kavanaugh, straight drop back. Is the rush there? Kavanaugh intercepted. No, a little out of the hands of the safety man who stepped in, Ray Ellis.
John Frank, the rookie, really made a fine play for the 49ers that time, and a quick adjustment, and there's a flag down back around in the Kavanaugh area. But Frank really did a good job preventing that from being an interception.
Offensive holding, number 68, decline a penalty, it's 4th down.
But very important, an INT at that point is much different than being able to kick it away.
You bet. Here it is now. Kavanaugh back to throw down the middle. I wasn't sure who it was that had the ball in his hands. But watch as we see Kavanaugh right there go down, and wanted to see the other end of it, but we won't.
Maxie Runiger, the actor, is back into action. He really airmails this one and goes into the end zone. 14-9 is the score. 3:23 left in the 3rd, and I think this is going to be a barn burner. But worried, this is the kind of game that could sneak up on you, especially when you're 3-0 and on the road. Jaworski is 10 of 35 for 136. 1st and 10 toss. Back to Montgomery, who's going to throw it. Montgomery throwing the option for Mike Quick. Quick has it knocked away.
Dwight Hicks, a great play coming from center field.
And coming from nowhere. Montgomery did throw a little spaceship, a good tight spiral. Quick almost made the catch, but Hicks gets the cigar.
Couldn't have been a better throw. Really couldn't have been a better throw on that halfback option pass. But Hicks came a long way from center field. The toss here, and I tell you, they do a pretty good job of selling this. Wilbur doesn't belly back much at all. Look at Ellison trying to go over the top, and he rears back and lets it go, and this ball is right on the money. Hicks can be the saver. It's juggled, and he's right there.
And Hicks, of course, I know he comes from Michigan, but he also comes from Pensacola, New Jersey, right across the river from Philadelphia. And the Eagles cut him. Here's Hubie Oliver staggering out to the 24.5-yard line. The last cut 3 years ago, maybe it's 4 years ago, Dwight Hicks was the one axed by this team. He went on to San Francisco and obviously has found a home.
And Hicks was a draft choice by Detroit in '78. He was cut there, went to Canada, came back, was here with the Eagles. They cut him. He's found a home out there with San Francisco, and he's been solid. All-Pro, Pro Bowl.
Played the Super Bowl. And won. 3rd down and 6, a big one. Jaws is 1 for 9 on 3rd down conversions. Not a very nice number. Jaworski going for it all, going for Kenny Jackson. In and out of Jackson's hands at the 37. Let's see what the call is. Oh, Wilbert Montgomery, 31. Wilbert almost had that one put away. And he does have acceleration.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? You can do that with your running back, and he's got that 9.6 speed that he had in college, and you can put him out there at wide receiver. In fact, you know, a lot of times he said perhaps that's where he'd prefer to play, out there at wide receiver. But in all, you know, fairness to Jaworski right now too, Brookie, he's had about 6-7 balls dropped on him.
That was catchable. Horan now with a punt. Dana McLemore. Remember his 55-yard return against Detroit. He's a very good return man. See what kind of pressure they put on the left footer. It's a pretty good kick. Fair caught by McLemore at the 35-yard line, call it. 49ers defense holds. There is a flag on the 28-yard line of Philadelphia. 42-yard punt, no return. But the flag continues to plague San Francisco.
57 on the receiving team is holding. Post-possession foul. 10-yard penalty from the spot right here.
So the 49ers will just start from a little deeper in their own territory. They maintain possession. Walsh must be wondering what is happening to his team today. Don't forget, next weekend on Sports Saturday, Jerry Cooney will make his long-awaited return to the ring against unbeaten Phil Brown. Cooney, who last fought in '82, that was when Larry Holmes beat on him like a drum, is ready to go, he said.
If he can remember how to climb through the ring ropes, he'll probably be okay now.
You'll see this bout live from Anchorage, Alaska, the first ever New York Triathlon, and also the Marlboro Cup, where Slew of Gold is that horse that might end up with the Triple Crown and win that extra $1 million for this stable. 3:30 Eastern Time, you in Harrisburg, and 12:30 for the people on the Pacific Coast. Sports Saturday next weekend. Quick draw. Wendell Tyler fumbles the ball, but he's on the ground. Obviously, the defensive players are going for the ball a little bit on Wendell because that's what the reputation says he does. Most of his has been, though, with extra effort.
It has, and he's doing a good job. He's keeping that ball a lot closer to his body than he did in the past. And that's been a big difference for him.
57 yards for Tyler.
There were times when he'd be struggling for yardage and that ball would be waving out in one hand and somebody would bat it away and strip it away from him. But he's concentrated on it.
Kavanaugh must protect against the interception or the turnover now because the Eagles are sort of waiting for that to get them started. Quickly out in the flat. Craig takes a shot, still makes a couple of yards, but not much. Good defense as Ellis and the Eagles circled him up.
You hear the pads cracking out there in the flat that time. We told you this might be a physical game from the start of it. And it has been that.
Scores from other games. St. Louis back up on the Saints by a digit, 21-20 in the fourth. Superdome must be rocking. 23-10 Redskins. Well, holding on a little bit now. They better not take that one too lightly. 21-19 in the fourth quarter. Both Buffalo's having a tough time. Eagles played them in a couple of weeks up there. Third down and 5. Kavanaugh, the slant, overthrows badly. Dwight Clark. Not even close. Herm Edwards there, and I believe that was a waste pitch. And now Rudiger will get some pressure. The Eagles will say, well, we've got him falling and doing things. Let's put the pressure and see if we can block it. Can't trust the Swamp Fox. He's a player's coach, though. Rudiger's punt, a very good punt, a deep driving kick. Cooper at the 29. Boy, he doesn't get much. Give him the 31 and a headache. Crowd is beginning to get into it now. You can almost feel the tension in the stands. A 41-yard punt, a 3-yard return.
Little time left here in the third quarter. 34-second show on the clock. And Tom, you said that this will be one of those games that can sneak up on you. And I think we're going to have a pretty good show in the fourth quarter. I think it's going to get a little wild.
Well, Leonard Toews, the owner that I've known for so long, got up at the Maxwell banquet here in the city and guaranteed the fans or promised them a victory over San Francisco this week. And the player said, that's good if we can figure out where Leonard's going to play.
That's right. Strap him up. Let's go.
But I think if you own a ball club, you should have the right to do whatever you want to do and have some fun with it. Wilbert Montgomery, being chased to the sidelines, somehow gets to the line of scrimmage and a yard. Stuckey was the final person, but Ellison and 2 or 3 others got stand-up shots at Wilbert Montgomery, who can't be over 206 pounds. Plays hurt and plays well.
Well, you know, he said he feels pressure this year than he has any time in his career because he didn't play a full season 2 years ago because it was a strike year. Last year he was out, I think, he played in 5 games and really only started 1, so he said, I'm probably stronger right now than I have been since I was a rookie.
Good call. That's the end of the third quarter. The score is 14-9 San Francisco. We now pause for a word Balboa came from, and they love fourth quarter football. And the man in charge is Ron Jaworski. If he wins, he'll be a hero tomorrow in Philadelphia. A cutback by Wilbert Montgomery. Stopped and straightened up and now gang tackled. May have gotten the line of scrimmage.
Initial hit by Ricky Ellison, who was either on a blitz or made an excellent read because he was a yard deep in that Philadelphia backfield when he made contact.
11-1, leading at the half over the last 2 seasons.
Means they don't give many away.
But what happened last year is not always what's happening this year.
That's exactly right.
Grind them up and let's put out 84th because this is going to be a tough game in the fourth period. 1 for 10 on third down. That's what the Eagles have put up there so far today. It's third down and call it 7. Jaworski looks like Stuckey may have jumped. Let's see the call. The quarterback will get a free one. He's thrown a little lob to Montgomery. It's knocked away by Keena Turner, I believe. No, it's number 49. Fuller made a real good spike of the ball, but I believe somebody jumped off.
We'll wait for the call.
Boy, he's some player, this Fuller.
Defense offside, number 79. That's a 5-yard penalty and third down.
Stuckey can't believe it. That's the 11th penalty against this ball club. They know you can have bad days. You got to make sure they don't cost you the football game or the division or something. This is a ball game you don't say we can afford to lose.
Looks like Stuck got a little lump in the head there too. It's third and a real long 2 here, Tom. So we're still in the passing situation, I would think.
A pro set offense. 2 backs there split to pick up blitzers, perhaps. Addix is one of them. And now Jaworski rolling. Misses Spagnola.
Did he miss him, or did Turner tip it a little? Because he was in pretty good shape on Spagnola. Keena Turner was.
Spagnola having some trouble getting the catches today. That ball was really whistled and airmailed. And they fail on third down. Fourth down now and a couple, and Horan will punt, the left footer, and McLemore is back. I'm waiting for one of these to have ice on it like I was touted.
That's how high he holds it when he kicks it, how high it is in his hands.
Here they come. Oh, they're going to return. This one, oh, there you go. That's what we've been hearing about. At the 8-yard line, McLemore pulled down with a diving tackle by number 59, Joel Williams, and that baby was punted up above the Delaware River. A 52-yard punt here, and they feel like the Eagles are going to tighten the noose on Cavanaugh. Let's see in this fourth quarter. Tyler breaks outside. Wendell Tyler makes the sidelines. Wendell Tyler is being run down the sidelines, cuts back, and he's forced out of bounds. Let's see if there are any flags back here. Freddie Solomon took him on a convoy down the sidelines, and they said he stepped out. Unofficially, it was an 82-yard scamper, but a lot of people don't believe that's true. They got the ball back around the 28-yard line.
They got around the corner in a hurry down there on the toss.
Stepped out of bounds on about the 29-yard line.
Eagles were blitzing.
That's a first down.
On the 29-yard line is where he stepped out of bounds.
There it is.
Right there.
He got back inbounds, too, you know. Looks like he was on Highway 76 heading for Atlantic City. Whoa, everybody breathes a little bit.
Everybody in green and white, that is.
That'd have been Canadian football. He would have scored an 82-yarder. We know that. Tyler was 73 yards on 14 carries, and he didn't get all of that one. Cavanaugh must move the football now. Craig and Monroe in the backfield. Cavanaugh dances out, now throws it, and Francis has it safely at the 42. A big target, and Cavanaugh had to look for it.
Excellent composure that time, too, by Matt Cavanaugh, number 6, because he had heavy heat back there, had to step over bodies, duck in and out, maintain his concentration downfield, and pick out Russ Francis. That's what a quarterback has to go through to get something to work here. They're going to surge in the middle on him now. Where are they? I mean, he's lost sight of everybody. He has to duck out, step over a couple guys, and find it on the run. And you think it's easy.
Remember, they know, just like any of us that have been around football, if you stay too close to a team you should be up by 15 points on, something happens, the other team suddenly is the one that gets fresh. And
right, this is a big possession here for the 49ers.
Another first down out of the 41. Roger Craig on a real good cutback, putting his head down and bucking forward. The Eagles won their game, beating Minnesota, when they got a penalty on the last play of the game and got one more shot. And Spagnola caught about a 1-yard touchdown pass. So the fellas in green and white will hang around and fight the whole day. Tyler's back in there. Mr. Explosive. Kavanaugh's done a good job of keeping the team purring. 16 of 31 for 201 and 2 touchdown passes. Tyler, first down. Straight line.
I'll tell you, Tom, he's just a lot stronger than people give him credit for. Number 26, Tyler.
The city stayed around, did a lot more lifting this year, didn't he, in the offseason? It really makes a big difference.
He's off now, and Monroe back in.
Busy day. 190 some odd pounds.
And it's warm down there. I mean, it might be a perfect day for football. We're talking perfect day if you're in the stands and watching. It's still a little warm down there on that AstroTurf.
Moving into Eagle territory now. 49ers move when they must. Kavanaugh sacked back at the 47-yard line. That's Ken Clark. And we said he was sort of an underrated nose tackle. A lot of people think he's one of the top 4 or 5.
I tell you, his coach really likes him. Marion Campbell does. He said he's a natural at nose tackle. Built low, good leverage, and is very intelligent reading the blocks in there.
The 4th sack for the Eagle defense today. There's Kenny Clark. Picked up off as a free agent. Charlie Johnson was then traded to Minnesota, and he has become a fixture, number 71 now. Second down and 14. Kavanaugh with a deep drop. Dumps it over. It's going to be short of a first down. It's called incomplete. Roger Craig had it for a moment. So if we're going to go with crucial plays early in the 4th period, it would be the one coming up.
Right now, and the Eagles have their specialty defense in their nickel situation. Extra defensive backs. 4 down linemen for the rush.
They'll stunt probably, huh? They'll come from Delaware, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania on this rush, huh? There's the Swamp Fox. He's calling for a little effort here. 3rd down and 14. Kavanaugh on a quick drop. He's getting some heat. He's going deep for it. Good catch by Clark. Dwight Clark is going to score a touchdown. I don't see any yellow flags. And the safety man coming to the corner simply thought he could get there and didn't get there. A 51-yard touchdown catch by Clark of a good throw by Kavanaugh.
Good throw, good catch, and great effort by Clark after it here. You're right, Ray Ellis coming from center field thought he's going to make up the ground much like Dwight Hicks did earlier on the same kind of play. You see him right there, but he was about a step short of getting there. And Clark does a good job of staying up and taking it on into the end zone, and that is just a huge play for the 49ers.
Second touchdown for number 87, who's averaged over 70 catches a year for the past 5 years. It's an amazing receiver, that fellow. What a throw, too, by Kavanaugh. Wershing with the extra point. Boy, when San Francisco needed the points, San Francisco got the points.
See Clark right there now. He's not catching as many passes as he did in years past, but his average per catch is way up there. And there is a happy quarterback, and the 49ers have some breathing room.
And busy on the telly is Kavanaugh, who is the man of the moment for the San Francisco offense. Joe Hayes is down Wershing's kickoff, and the Eagles will have 80 yards to go to get back in the game, but they've got a lot of time. 10:43 left. That last scoring drive, what a bolt, 51-yarder, most of it, 7 plays, 87 yards, and well run by Matt Kavanaugh. Boy, I thought he really squeezed off a nice round when he threw that pass. He got a deep drop early, so he'd have a second or two to set his feet. Nice throw. .10:43 on the clock. A lot of time. That sort of got the people sitting back a little bit.
That's what the 49ers have done in this 3-0 start, though, Tom. Whenever they've needed something, you know, they've been ahead in 2 games early, the Washington game, the New Orleans game, and just when the other team gets back, they make a big play like that.
Dallas had to sort of hang on to beat this team by 6 points a week ago, so they got it going, and they played the 4th quarter at least on even terms. Jaworski is hit, dropped, and the ball is almost intercepted by by Ricky Ellison forced it. I believe it was Tuiasa Sopo, the nose tackle.
Ellison was on the blitz, and I think he's the one that hit Jaworski just as he threw. And then it was tipped around by Tuiasa Sopo, who just barely missed coming up with the interception. Let's see right here. There's Ellison. He's the one that makes contact back there on the blitz.
Watch this.
One of the big guys would like to take off and run with that, wouldn't he?
Over the reef, boy, I'll tell you. Would he have scored a touchdown and taken that ball to the bench? They don't get a chance to glamorize themselves much. That was almost an INT. Second down and 10. Jaworski being rushed and sacked back on the 7-yard line, and they say he fumbles, but they're going to call it dead. Tuiasa Sopo got even that time. This time he almost put the quarterback in the end zone.
Missed an interception, and it comes back and gets a sack. Good hustle, good effort. Got good penetration by Jim Stuckey right there that kind of flushed Jaworski up and out of the pocket, and then Tuiasa Sopo comes over to make the sack. But credit number 79, Stuckey, also with that.
Stuckey ran right over the top of Moraldi, the left tackle, and deposited him almost on Jaworski's lap. There's Manu, obtained from Seattle. And that's a grimy world they live in down there. It's fun to once in a while be able to put your fist up in the air and have some fun. 2 plays in a row. On third down and 20, Jaworski going deep for Kenny Jackson, who's, wow, they're going to call interference. Mario Clark knew he was beaten and just grabbed him.
Had his arm out on him.
Jackson gets up limping. They say he has 4.55 or 4.6 speed, but he runs up on you pretty fast. Jackson may be a little faster than people think he is. And a good throw by Jaworski. That was 55 yards in the air and had the right postage on it.
Interference number 29. That's a first down.
The 12th penalty against San Francisco, but 139 yards of penalties.
Still in the ball game, isn't he?
Number 7 hangs tough. First and 10 now, just short of midfield. 9:55 left. Jaworski shoots it quickly, and Vito Cab, the Penn Stater, thought it was a quick draw. He never even saw the ball go in and out. Don't forget, there's college football this Saturday on CBS Sports, the key Big Ten showdown between defending conference champion Illinois and the 14th ranked Iowa team. You'll get a look at 2 outstanding quarterbacks, Jack Trudeau of Illinois and Iowa's Chuck Long. So tune in next Saturday at noon Pacific time for those in Harrisburg, and then at 9 a.m. for you people on the Pacific Coast to see exciting college football here on CBS Sports next Saturday. Second down and 10. Jaworski dancing, looking for a secondary receiver, and gets knocked down. He was trying to find Haddix, but he was covered by Hacksaw Reynolds anyway.
Look, you can't question Jaworski's courage. He held that ball back there in the pocket waiting for somebody to come open until the very last 10th of a second. He knew he was going to take a shot, but he didn't flinch, stood in there, delivered the ball, and then was hit by Dwayne Board.
The Eagles, 1 of 11 on third down conversions.
Watch this right here. So many guys will shy off this right here, but he stepped right up and threw the ball the way he's supposed to.
Sometimes a bad third down conversion ratio is because good defense on the other side, and the nickel is played darn well by San Francisco. Third down and 10. This is a big one for Jaworski and company. He's got time. He's got a receiver open. Number 83, Woodruff, coming across. He's going to be awfully close to the first. Let's see. Marion Campbell will go for this if it's close. 9.5 minutes on the clock.
About a foot short, it looks.
Woodruff tried to shove it over the line, didn't he?
Yeah.
Swamp Fox said, isn't that fair?
Really no decision here. They've got to go for it.
Wright Hicks is defending the right to say that he didn't think it was that close. Prosecution rests. But this is one where you got to load it up. and get Montgomery in the backfield and give him the ball. The crowd waiting for that explosion, and I just have a feeling, and I did all along, that the fourth quarter of this game is going to be savage. Inches. What do you think, Swamp Fox? Jaworski still on the field. Moraldi, Mitchell, Dennard, Baker, Perot. Against Board, Tuiasosopo, Pillars. Montgomery's in there. He's the deep man in the eye behind Haddix. Haddix gets the call. Uh-oh, I don't know. Haddix, if he got it by the wingtip of a helmet. Oh. 49ers locked up pretty decently on that line of scrimmage, and there wasn't much room. Haddix goes 225. And Dean Moraldi, the big left tackle, is down.
They can't afford to lose too many people off that offensive line. Two starters out anyway.
Notice how those shadows, Wayne, begin to get very long, and the Eagle receivers will be turning back into that sunshine that's just coming over the edge of a roof. It's a tough sun. Swamp Fox's team went for it on fourth down. They trailed 21-9 this year at left tackle. Dean Moraldi, the 285-pounder, looked like he just got grazed and is trying to catch himself a little bit. We don't want to diagnose any injuries or anything, but he is sitting up talking to the corpsman.
Moraldi is a guy they put on the donut diet, isn't it? His weight down to about 250, and they, happily they told him, go home and put on 30 pounds in the off-season. So he said he moved next to a donut store.
He must have eaten a dozen. We watched him yesterday, Saturday morning practice. He is a load of people. A big first down obtained by inches. Jaworski in the second half is 3 of 13 for 25 yards. Remember, those shadows will come back into the receiver's face. Pasella is now at left tackle. He's an offensive snapper, a center. Haddix is the remaining back. Ball is on the 40. Jaworski back to throw. He's got time and an interception. A great interception by number 55, Fawnhorst, the younger brother of Keith, the right tackle, makes a big play, and it was not an easy interception. He had to play with that ball.
Well, it's just one of those different looks on defense that the 49ers show. They can keep their base defense in there with a 3-4 and then bring Fawnhorst in for Jack Reynolds, and it gives them a little bit more maneuverability. As you see Hacksaw congratulate him against the pass. A good drop here by Fawnhorst, and Jaworski thought he had something, but no one-handed grab here.
Okay.
Great play.
And from Minnesota comes up with a big one. That's his game ball. Life is interesting. Fawnhorst, of course, in the other league, USFL, signed with San Francisco, and John McVay said he's going to be a lot better player than we thought he was. And he certainly has proven that. Francis in motion. Cavanaugh back to throw. Oh, he's going deep for Nehemiah, who has it knocked away at the last minute. Herman Edwards made a stab at the last minute, and Ronaldo had begun to get into that other gear.
Yeah, he was in overdrive. Good play, though, by number 46, Herman Edwards. Okay, what do you figure now? We got a 21-9 ball game. 14 points would win it for the Eagles. 8 minutes left with the 49ers in possession. Realistically, the Eagles have the ball maybe 2 more times, maybe 3. Unless they come up with a turnover or 2.
That's what they're looking for now. Defensively, you're saying, okay, all we need is a fumble here and an interception the next series if we can force them to throw. And Cavanaugh, of course, is banking that the Eagles will over-gamble, and they'll be able to slide in and take the rest of the clock and just eat it up. Second down. Here's the draw play. Craig comes to the draw, breaks into the open, and gets into Eagle territory in a hurry. He's a fucking Bronco. Roger Craig really had the knee action going that time.
Every first down that the 49ers pick up here, this is on the draw. Look at Fred Quillen, got an excellent block there on the nose tackle, Ken Clark. Cross was downfield. Look at Dwight Clark still trying to get in a block down there on Herman Edwards. A good team effort there offensively by the 49ers, and they pick up the first down just across midfield.
7:42 left. Boy, Herm Edwards had to strap it on and get into that. Then Craig wouldn't let him get away from that tackle, ran right into it. First and 10, just in Eagle territory. The quick draw again. This time it's Wendell Tyler. Oh, there's that fumble. Oh, the San Francisco player comes out with it at the 45. That's Fawnhorst, the other brother. This one, the big fellow, the stabilizing influence at right tackle. That's the fumble the Eagles were looking for. Scores. Final score, the Redskins 26, New England 10. They draw even after 4. The Jets still leading Buffalo, but there's a field goal away there. That's 28-26. That's not a final yet. Minnesota over Detroit, 29-21. Not sure how late that is. It's getting later all the time. Ring is in the game, number 30. And gets the handoff. Head breaks cleanly to the 36-yard line.
You like him, don't you?
I sure do.
He's an effort guy.
First step is full speed with him.
Yeah, that's no question. He gets there. He gets extremely clean. You know, see, he was like the guy the 49ers used to have, like Paul Hofer. They said, you know, he doesn't have a whole lot of ability, but I guarantee he gets to the line extremely fast, and it takes more than an arm tackle to get this guy down, too. And he's not going to fumble.
And, you know, these guys are getting a little bit weary on defense. They've been out there whacking on big bodies for 3.5 quarters now, and sometimes that fresh blood, boom, and it happens. Started to say bingo there for a minute, but it's first and 10. 49ers 21-9 now, in control if they don't lose it. Tyler stumbles and is pounced on at the 36-yard line. Don't forget, coming up next here on CBS, it's doubleheader day. You'll see either the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys in Mortal Kombat, or the Chicago Bears and the Seattle Seahawks. I'd like to see both those contests. Right after this game, of course, here on CBS. Tyler now at 84 yards on 17 carries. As we've said, he's coming along on our 90-yard rushing average per game. And if you multiply that times 16, he's going to be right in there nicely for honors or a few games at the end of the season. Second down and 10, a toss. Back to Wendell Tyler. Inside the 30. Thrown out of bounds by Jerry Robinson, who used to be his friend.
Jerry Robinson with as good a speed at the inside linebacker position as anyone that plays it. He come laterally across the line. Rid of a block there by John Ayers, and come on out and ring neck his old buddy from UCLA, Wendell Tyler.
They used to get together on Friday night and have fun. Now he throws him like he's really mad at him. 29 tackles. Whether or not he would be a superstar, which he always has been an outside linebacker, more than inside, where you got to load up and take on those big people all the time, remains to be seen. But he is a superior football player. Inside Tyler, not much. May have picked up the first. Griggs in there, Anthony Griggs. Some more scores. Boy, what a day for football in September. As Andy Rooney says, September is special for everybody, no matter what your age. Atlanta 42-10 over Houston. 49ers and the Atlanta Falcons next week here on CBS. New Orleans 27-24 over St. Louis. Bum Phillips' hats gets bigger every week. Rams 24-14, a final over Cincinnati. Don't count out that team. Robinson's team is going to be in the hunt at the end. 4.5 minutes here. And the thing that the 49ers have done that I think impresses me is when they have to get something, they seem to come up with the right percentage numbers, the right player at that time.
Letting it run down here, then they're going to bring Wershing on to attempt the field goal. And this is a big one for him because if he makes it, they've got 21 points. That'll put 24 points on the board. Eagles have 9 and 14 make 23. if they would happen to some way score 2 more touchdowns, Philadelphia would. So they'd have to score 2 touchdowns plus a field goal or 3 touchdowns to beat them now. So this, for the 49ers, is just about closing the lid if Washington can knock it through here.
Would you let Montana do your holding, though, when he's injured like that? I sure wouldn't.
Well,
because if I was a defensive player, I'd run across the top of it.
That's like John Brody once said, you know, when John was quarterback in the 49ers and making all that money, and somebody asked him, you know, John, why do you hold the football on extra points and field goals? And he said, because if I didn't, it would fall over. Somebody's got to be out there.
Somebody's got to do it?
Well, you know, it makes a difference for a kicker. I guarantee you that Wershing, you give Wershing a vote, and he wants Montana out there holding the ball for him because that's his normal holder. He's comfortable with it.
But I'll tell you, against coaches like Mike Ditka and a few people I know, you know, you just have to protect yourself at all times, especially if you're a $1 million quarterback. Anyway, Wershing, who, as we said, is perfect up to the 40. He was until he missed that little one earlier in the game. Oh, he gets it blocked. It's blocked quickly by number 59. The Eagles have it out of bounds. Joel Williams came up the middle and blocked it with his elbows.
Joel Williams has had a fine special teams day. He's made little great tackles on punt coverage and busted through a seam here and got the block on this one. He got it down good. That's just too much penetration in the middle of the line, and Williams gets up. Not Wershing's fault. But that's a pretty good one for the Eagles to have.
4:05, so need a lot of points. Again, I think you almost have to have a defensive scorer here to get back in it. Walsh hasn't taken off the headset yet. Put it right back on. 1st and 10. Jaworski now coming out in shotgun, of course, on 1st down. And the nickel is in for San Francisco. Jaworski out in the flat. That's Haddix. Williamson making the stop there. Jaworski now with the hurry up. San Francisco taking their time. 3:40 on the clock. Philadelphia has 3 timeouts left. They'll try to work the field, get their timeouts. Inside patterns have been really tough to complete. Wilbert Montgomery couldn't hang on to that one. In fact, I don't know if Jaworski has any completions inside the hash marks.
You might be right. He hasn't been very successful working the middle of this San Francisco defense. I've shown you a couple times excellent drops by the linebackers. They're doing a good job holding up when people come off the line, and everything that Jaworski has had has been down the sidelines.
The Eagles had a pretty good chance before Dwight Clark took the 51-yarder. They were down there, and with their good receivers, they had a chance to get very close. This is a good football team, San Francisco. The screen to Montgomery. Montgomery over the 40 and had to leap to get there for a 1st down. Billy Friel tells me it was Jeff Fuller again that made a play. He may not start, but Jeff Fuller plays as many football plays as anybody on that San Francisco team.
Just a rookie. He was their 5th-round draft choice. Originally as a linebacker. When we talked to Keena Turner yesterday, he said at number 49, Jeff Fuller could play linebacker, he could play safety, or he even felt he could play the cornerback. He ran a 4.5 or 4.49 40, so he's got the speed to play anywhere on the football field, and he's certainly got the athletic ability.
Tough little player right there, Mario Clark. Don't forget, tonight on CBS, the lineup, as always, the best. 60 Minutes. And, of course, that's this year's 60-minute show, and that's incredibly good, isn't it? After MASH and 36th Annual Emmy Awards. They've sort of teased me and gotten me turned on for that, and I want to see the Emmy Awards this year. Some great people nominated.
Who's accepting yours, since you're not there?
In absentia, but there's the Fox, Swamp Fox, Marion Campbell. He was a head coach in Atlanta. He said he learned a lot. He learned that you got to bring in your own people and get them to play your kind of football, or you got to run them off. And he has 10 people that were on that 80 Super Bowl team as starters are no longer with the team. 5 on offense and 5 on defense. Chicago 7, Seattle nothing in the 1st quarter. Don't forget, the 2nd game, a lot of you people will see either the Chicago Bears or the Seattle Seahawks or the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys. And the Bears, as you saw, are already on top of Seattle. Ditka's got a monster. Or Ditka is a monster, whichever way you want to say that. Big Mike's done a good job at settling down. He's a good head coach. The numbers on Jaworski. Look at that second half. 49ers have simply turned it off. First and 10 with 3.5 minutes left. Jaworski now with nobody open. Now gets it across to Kenny Jackson, short of the San Francisco 40. And the Eagles are hustling back up to the line of scrimmage. An 18-yard completion. 2 timeouts left. They burned one after that last first down move. Jaworski back, looking to the right side again. Gets it to Haddix. The big running back is collared by Keena Turner. Looks like somebody in Darby's Rangers. He took him down, didn't he? Whoa. Timeout. And let's see. They're making sure that San Francisco gets back or get penalized. They did get back. Second down and 6. Jaworski throwing for Woodruff, and Tony comes up with the ball and really got shocked on it, and he had to look right back into that sun that's sinking in the west. Good catch. The flag is down, however. Back around the protection cup. Around the pass protection there.
64 offense, 5-yard face mask.
Called 54 on offense for a face mask, and I cannot find a 54 on the offense.
No.
And Swamp Fox now is looking down his roster to see.
Somebody sneaked out there.
Must be Dean Moraldi, 64, I suppose. When you're that big, maybe the 6 reduces to a 5. Second down and 11. The ball on the 42. Eagles are running out of chances rapidly. Pretty good blocking pattern. Jaworski going high and long. Closely covered. Tony Woodruff, number 21, Eric Wright, really can go one-on-one with you. He's about as good as there is.
He can cover. When we talked to Ronnie Lott a couple weeks ago, what did he say? He said, I want to get to the point where I can play one-on-one as good as Eric over on the other side. He said he is so smooth, and he's never very far away. Did you see the footwork on that one? He almost looked like he was leaning inside a little bit and taking a fake, and then the guy made the cut to the outside, and Wright just did that little nifty move with his feet and turned around and was running right with him. You can't teach that. You can't teach those feet that. They can either do it or can't.
And didn't have to grab him or anything. Just beautiful coverage. And a tough position at corner spot. Jaworski back to throw again. Going across the middle. Trying for Mike Quick. And that ball again thrown very hard by number 7 and coming right out of the sun. Past 2 linebackers. Uncatchable. 2:17 left. A 4th down. It's fire and fall back time. Swamp Fox says, boy, when you turn the projector off, that doesn't mean you can go to bed as a head coach, huh?
Is he in trouble here, Tom, if he doesn't win this year?
Well, the owner guaranteed and promised to win, but Leonard Toews is not the kind of fellow that would probably disrupt it. I do think he had to retool his team. It was a team that was out of gas a year ago. Wilbert Montgomery catches at the 35, short of the first down. And I might add, this team has played poorly since the strike year. They are 7-23 since the strike of '82. They just never quite recovered for some reason. Jaworski's probably last offensive play with 2:09 left. And a 49er is down. Well, this is when, as a coach, you say, if I can just get the last few minutes over with and not lose somebody that's important. I'm 4-0, and I'm heading in to play the Falcons next week at Candlestick. I want all my players available. That's Mario Clark down there, huh?
That's who it is, who has had a fine game at the left corner, replacing the injured Ronnie Lott.
Bill Friel tells me that Kavanaugh has tied his best with that 3 touchdowns. With New England against, I believe it was Houston once. New Orleans once he had 3 touchdowns, but he had a pretty good day as the quarterback. There's Mario now running off, so not permanently hurt. Don't forget, following this game, it's either the Green Bay Packers or the Dallas Cowboys. or the Chicago Bears against the Seattle Seahawks. It's a darn good selection right here on CBS. 49ers were not ready for a title game today, but they're going to win the contest and probably not lose anybody through serious injury. That's important. And they'll be 4-0. There's Ring, number 30 in a hurry. Out over the 35 for a couple. Well, this is when you're playing defense, you got to get yourself up. You got to say, well, I guess I better pick off a fumble or anything to try to make something happen. There's the quarterback that never played.
Looking at Montana, you know, he had 49 straight starts up until today, and when we talked to Bill Walsh yesterday, he said, you know, I want to hold him out, and I want it to be Matt's game. He said, but I'm not even sure, even if he does not play today, whether, you know, he'll be ready to play next week or not. That's no guarantee yet.
Especially with something like the sternum, you know, if it's, I don't know exactly where it is. If it's up near the collarbone, it could be even worse. See Norm Hecker, play caller from the sidelines, talking to Joe Montana, but the people we've talked to on both sides have said that nobody has total vision of the field like Joe Montana. First, second, third receivers. Plus, he absorbs all of those, the ready list. It looks like a dictionary.
Which is enormous, right?
100 and some odd plays.
We had timeout by the Eagles right there, so they're still scratching.
Yeah, they've got only one more. They burned 2. Here comes Wendell Tyler. He got back in the game, but look out, Wendell breaks out and into Eagle territory. Wendell didn't get a touchdown today. He almost wanted to keep that ball, didn't he? 21-9, 20 carries. He had 3 last year.
Well, he's going to be up over a 5-yard average per carry. He came in with a 4.9 average, so he'd move that up.
And the 49ers without Montana are going to win their 4th game in a row. That's some slider to have 4-0 going into back home to play the Atlanta team that they don't like a little bit. 1st and 10 now. Kavanaugh Pollard. Tossing back to the weak side goes Wendell Tyler. To the 42-yard line. The executive producer of CBS's coverage of the National Football League is Terry O'Neill. Senior producer is Charles H. Milton III. We know him as Red Eye. Today's game was produced by Bobby Dekas, our man on the move, and directed so ably in such a capable fashion by Bob Dunphy, and the associate director is Mitchell Goldstein. And all the people, Roxana and Rich and all of you that make this possible for us to somehow relay this message to you for 3.5 hours on a Sunday afternoon. People on camera. And there are a lot of people involved. Sometimes when I don't read the promo correctly, it's hard for you to believe that it's a team effort, but there's Swamp Fox. He is not going to be a happy man. He takes losses, he keeps it inside, and he can yell at a player. But I'll tell you, it's all behind closed doors, and it's like your father yelling at you. He doesn't do it in the press. He doesn't do it around the league. It's between you and him, and he has a lot of respect. Hey, Chicago, the Seattle team has tied that one up at 7-7. Peyton against Franco Harris. And don't forget, some of you people can watch that. The Bears and the Seahawks. You other people are going to see Green Bay and Dallas. Forrest Gregg and Tom Landry. Classic. Misdirection, Ring. Bill Ring gets inside the 35. And you're right, if this was a fight, they would be stopping it now.
Yeah, I think the Eagles take a timeout yet, or they're going to let it keep running. They've got one more left, and
they'll try to. They can't even get a.
They're going to start
down out there.
What they're going to be doing now, the Eagles are going to start punching at that ball when the ball carrier has it, trying to wrest it away from him some way.
It's a better San Francisco team than beat Cincinnati in the Super Bowl, don't you think?
I think it is. I think it's much better.
You can rush the football now. Bubba's getting bigger and more experienced at left tackle. Ayers is one of the best. That's Wendell Tyler. And believe me, getting him. Was that Derek Harmon again?
That's who it was.
He and Wendell are looking like they're running each other's shadows. They came in with a 2-game lead, so San Francisco obviously didn't lose any ground. Falcons are 2-2, the Rams 2-2, New Orleans knotted. Up on top, the 49ers. Well, they sell out the stick, don't they? Candlestick Park. It'll be jammed next Sunday.
You were right when you said that Atlanta and the 49ers don't particularly care for each other. They get about 6 or 7 skirmishes in each quarter in those games.
Last play or two of the game, 22 seconds and ticking. Kavanaugh will seat it down now. And like two hockey teams, they will shake hands and wait to fight another day. 423 yards of offense for San Francisco with Kavanaugh as the coordinator. And the Eagles end up at 247 yards. So the defense for San Francisco, patched up and all, played extremely well. So for Wayne Walker, this is Tom Brookshire's Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. The final score was San Francisco 21, Philadelphia 9. Staying so long. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after this word from your local station.